Clash Royale. Download for free.
This is the best Halloween ever! Nothing could spoil this. Uh-oh, meteor.
I'm sorry, what? I don't speak Gollum. Does anyone here
Now this is the best Halloween ever. Yes! Oh!
Good video. Very good. I do hope the Blue King loses in this next one, though.
Subscribe. Subscribe.
Maybe I should get back to battling. Oh, one more video couldn't hurt, right?
Subscribe. Subscribe.
直接拔掉了，拉下光卡，拿到一个游侠的位置很完美，还有吗？
まずはタロンが一本選手。
KFU were able to come back from great response.
파브가 결승에 진출합니다.
球一砸带走。
마게로도 이거 역전. 아하.
正规五冠王朝 NOVA 战队。
そして3発。
Welcome everyone to the penultimate day of Clash Royale League East Special Season. My name is Simon, with me is G-Clef, and we are just 2 days away from crowning a champion. We got today, and then the finals will be next Saturday. G-Clef, How you feeling about today?
Yeah, another day with two very, very important matches. Actually, one of the teams winning today from the winner's bracket goes straight to the finals. So we're going to have our first team that's going to be playing in the finals, and another team will also be eliminated. Happens to be the two Japanese team. One of those team has to go home. One will advance into the final day. So that's going to be the really hype matchup between all the regions except for Korea, basically, who was also eliminated yesterday along with TTG. So lots of exciting things happening right now for East.
Yeah, as you were saying, Fav did beat Talon, so Talon gone. Ponos did beat TTG. TTG gone. That means there's only one Chinese team left in WEDGM who will be up first in the winners bracket semi-final.
Yeah, you can say that.
Or would it be the winners bracket final?
Yeah, winners bracket's final because we actually had the losers final, which is, I guess, semi-final in a way. But winners bracket.
Yeah, winners bracket
winners
final.
bracket final, because even if you lose, you still get one more life, and you do go against the winner of our second match from losers. And we'll have that graphic for you guys to understand very easily. It's going to be easy and nice. I think we start with the winners match today.
Yeah, we do. So WEDGM versus Kicks will be the first matchup, and both these teams are guaranteed to finish at least third. So that's a pretty significant thing, considering a lot of people wrote Kicks off very early on in the season. They lost to WEDGM in that week 1 match. And
long time ago.
Yeah, it wasn't the greatest match you'll ever see, and a lot of people were like, oh, you know, Kicks doing what Kicks do. But they're here. Winners bracket final against WEDGM. Match 7 of the playoff. And then after that, we have Fav versus Ponos. Only one of these Japanese teams can remain in this tournament. I think it's going to be Ponos. You think it's going to be Fav. It's going to be a crazy, crazy match. That's all I know.
Yes, and 100% sure it's going to be one Japanese team advancing.
Congratulations. Congratulations.
But the
on that
winners
prediction.
match, who's going straight to the finals, that's a very big question that a lot of different players and players, even staff, and even the Korean casters were saying half and half.
Yeah,
half and half. It could literally go to anyone's favor. WEDGM, they have some characteristics, but especially for 1v1, it's hard to snipe. You kind of have to guess who's going for that set 3, who's going for that set 4, set 5. Usually we had the ace player going for set 4, but the trend has been going for set 3 because we actually had some 3-0s, just like Talon did against Nova.
Yep.
So just in case of 3-0s happening, you do want that bridge line to be kept on hold by that ace player. I think set 3 is the way to go for ace players. But we'll see what happens in the active roster today.
Yeah, we see the stats of these two teams. WEDGM 6-2 in the regular season. Kicks 5-3. 50% win rate in King of the Hill for WEDGM. 63 for Kicks, but triple draft. And look at that 1v1 win rate for WEDGM, 100%. Anytime you take them to the 1v1, they win. And the thing about today, there's guaranteed to be a 1v1.
At least one or more. It's exciting news. Still best of 5 until the finals. Same format. You can have the same player who played in the King of the Hill or the triple draft. So here's Higher. Not only Higher, they also had Solomon and also Peas who won their 1v1. So that's why they have 100% win rate in that 1v1 set. King of the Hill, still they managed to have a lot of wins, but there were some downfalls in the middle.
Yeah, they looked a bit shaky last week. Fav Gaming did take the first 2 sets. They took the King of the Hill, then the triple draft. Then WEDGM came back and went back-to-back victories in the last 3 sets and did eventually win 3-2 after being 2-0 down. So that asks a lot of questions about their King of the Hill and triple draft, but their 1v1 is absolutely scary right now.
And on the other side, Kicks, their King of the Hill at the beginning of the season did not really go well. Islaw was hard carrying the team, and then Onion started kicking in some gears. Now even Benzer and Legend started winning some games. I think Kicks team has found a really good balance in between the roster. They can literally just have anyone playing that King of the Hill who at least get guaranteed a win or maybe more than that.
Yeah, if anyone was looking at that graphic and sees Legend was 0-4, He did win one game against AUK. Lost one game. And then G-Clef, what happened in the final game?
And then there was a disconnection from Legends side, and then because our tournament is happening online, due to the rule book, when there's a disconnection, the game actually just carries on with the disconnection. Even for all the Chinese, it's the same for all the Chinese players, Korean players, Japanese players. If there are any sort of lag or disconnect, the game result just stays.
Yeah, you have to continue on. So our first game today is going to be Higher versus Onion.
Ooh.
Now, Onion has been bringing things like the Graveyard. Last week he brought Graveyard, and then he brought that Bandit Wallbreaker Mega Knight deck. He was playing pretty solid. However, he did win one and lose one again. So that's something he keeps doing. He'll win one and then lose one. He never really gets into that groove of just back to back wins. And however, he did all kill team timing. So what do I know?
That's the game's ready. Oh, Wallbreaker again Higher. Played 4 different decks last week. Never playing Graveyard. Going straight in with that Wallbreaker now.
Yeah, well, there are the bats to clean that up, and a miner coming in. The miner's going to tank for the bats. Does Onion have an answer? The Ewiz is down.
So with the bats, seems like Higher has the cheaper version. Yeah, with the Knight instead of the Mega Knight.
Yep, and Onion? What is Onion playing here?
Let's see with the Knight. Oh, Knight, we did see a lot of pair up. Oh, even with Pekka yesterday. So let's see and wait just a little more.
Royal Delivery has proven to be a very interesting card. It's doing a lot of work defensively for a lot of these teams. It's just so strong right now.
Yeah, going to get some damage through with those bullets. Oh, they're getting one more shot. That's very good news for Higher to be doing this much damage.
So Onion playing Graveyard? Do you think?
Yeah, with an MK.
Yeah, with the MK, with the Baby Dragon, he does have a chance.
Yeah, before the double elixir time, 1500, that's still at an okay level. It's not too much damage that it took. Maybe with one less damage from the Hunter, it could have been a lot better. So Onion just waiting for that double elixir time to get that boost with that Graveyard Poison.
Well, he's got to start defending these minor pushes here. Good bar barrel just to distract everything, but the Hunter does completely eat that up. But this is very well defended. Pretty much 0 damage coming through. But we do have a very unhealthy Ewiz and a very unhealthy Night Witch crossing the bridge.
Yeah, those bats. You do need skeletons. You don't want to take any type of bat damage, even if you do have the lead.
Does Onion have anything to stop these wall breakers? The Goblin Cage comes in just in time, but another 700 getting done to that tower. So this Graveyard has to come soon, because otherwise Onion's going to find himself 1 tower down.
Yeah, that's why Higher keeps on pushing and making sure that the Night Witch does not really have the best pair up. There's that delivery.
Yep, Mega Knight goes down. Graveyard coming in with very little to tank for it, and a poison down for Higher on top. And suddenly Onion's job just got a lot harder to do. Those skeletons barely getting anything in, and this miner again going to town. The wall breakers are shut down by that Mega Knight, but more damage coming through with that miner. Can he make this push work? We've seen Graveyards out of nowhere win games. Can it happen for Onion now?
Yeah, the timing was a little bit weird, so instead of Graveyard, Onion just drops a E-Wiz. Could not really hold too much elixir for another poison along with that Graveyard. But he really needs to push now, with the Baby Dragon just gonna go forth. Again, the defensive poison from Higher.
And look at that, no damage getting through whatsoever. One hit.
Yeah. Higher's doing a massive job defending the bridge so well. The Warbreakers almost connected. That could have been dangerous.
Yep, it really could have been. It was so close. Goblin Cage came down just in time. Expect to see that Graveyard played now because he has nothing to lose. Chooses again to go for the E-Wiz. He's in poison range after this miner.
Oh, there's nothing else defending the mine. And one more hit is game. That's game going for WEDGM. Higher takes game number 1 away from Kicks.
Yeah, Onion out without a victory. We don't see that very often, but Higher just controlled the pace of that game beginning to end. Onion could only really get that one graveyard down. And then after that, you'd think that last push, you know it's the last push. You think there'd be a desperation graveyard, but again chose to go with the E-Wiz. So, yeah, no dice. Barely got any damage done to that tower.
Yeah, even with the graveyard, because of that Hunter, which made it really, really tough to win that bridge war, and actually those type of knight position, making sure that Baby Dragon doesn't lock onto the Princess Tower, and there was also defensive poison. So Higher had lots of defensive mechanics that he could go against the graveyard. Onion had to have a hard game for Onion to actually win, unless there was a big mistake from Higher.
Yeah, I think you could almost say it was impossible for him to win the way this one played out. Like, the way that Onion was playing, the way that Higher approached that with a very controlling style. Onion basically was trying to climb Everest with nothing but toothpicks, you know? Like, it was an impossible challenge.
Yeah, maybe if it was instead of delivery, if it was bomb tower, then Onion could have had an easier time. But because of delivery, all the bridge spam, bridge war was being won by Higher. And when that Mega Knight was crossing, he was ready with that Hunter. So this one was basically again set stone ready against that Mega Knight. Onion couldn't do too much.
Yeah, Hunter was a pretty big addition to that deck. Like, having the Hunter in there just to shut down things like the Mega Knight, the Baby Dragon. If you know your opponent is going graveyard, throwing in that Hunter just works so well.
Yeah, that's why Higher was winning that bridge spam. Not in a spam way, but bridge war. And if you're winning that against the graveyard player, then you just have the game. There's no way, close to no way of losing. And then, of course, having a poison, defensive poison all the time. And the reason why Onion couldn't really have the poison along with that graveyard is because he was losing the bridge fight. He had to drop the E-Wiz. He had to drop extra units towards that bridge fight to win that first, and then look for the graveyard chance. But if he's trying to use that much elixirs to win bridge, you just do not have enough elixirs extra for that poison anymore.
What do you think about E-Wiz in a graveyard deck? Because most of the idea behind a graveyard deck is to have the big tanks going forward. If you put that E-Wiz in there, you have a reset. So it might, if it does connect to the tower, obviously you don't want that, but if it does, suddenly you lose the tank, and then the skeletons start getting picked off.
Yeah, and E-Wiz right now, pretty good against lots of small bridge spam, bridge spammy decks, and also to stop anything with charge or the dash, or also the Inferno that could happen. So I think it's a good archetype with the Night Witch. Yeah, the Graveyard MK wasn't really popular in the first week of May, but it's starting to really gain popularity in just during this week, and then it was being played at least few times, at least 2 times yesterday too. And E-Wiz, it does help to win the bridge war, but not against the Night Hunter that's going to be basically sniping onto the Mega Knight all the time.
And then the Baby Dragon as well, and just cleaning everything up. So Onion is out, Benzer is in. The way Higher was playing that game, it looks like he might all kill because he was just so solid. He had the perfect read on his opponent. He had the perfect deck against that. Is Benzer going to do something different, or will we see Benzer play what he's known for in the Mortar?
He did try it and brought the win last week, once I believe, and also with a few graveyard, even a balloon deck. So the decks are going to be challenging. Both players just using so many different archetypes, even throughout the playoffs, only when they only had 4 or 5 games to go through. So this will be a big challenge to actually go counterparts.
Yep, so we see the players up on the screen. 31 games played for Benzer, 51.6% win rate. That does include triple draft.
Guess another Hog. Hog has been gaining some, not just in popularity, but also a great win rate during the playoff. The Knight version with the Bomb Tower or the Inferno.
So
both seems alright.
2.9 or 3.0. Even with the Valkyrie, we've seen
even
some
3.0,
success.
3.1 with the Valkyrie Inferno is also okay.
Well, we'll see what happens here. We have Benzer, Riddell in red at the top of the screen and higher in blue at the bottom. Heal Spirit usually...
RG Firecracker!
I was going to say, that's what it usually entails these days. I remember a time where Heal Spirit would have shown basically...
Yeah, Skeleton does not pair up too much with the Hog Rider. There's the first RG.
Okay, delivery comes in, shuts down that Firecracker before it gets anywhere near.
Yeah, with the delivery, maybe, I think, Hog from Hog Rider.
Yep, there it is. The Hog Rider is down from higher. Skeleton's the answer from Benzer. He doesn't have much else to do. He doesn't have that much elixir to defend, so it does take a couple of hits there.
Usually you do have the cage, but...
Could be
let's
playing
see,
a cageless version. Shaking things up. I doubt it. I think we're going to see a cage come down at some point. It's such a powerful defensive tool.
And RG can actually go through pretty well. The Earthquake will be on time exactly for Benzer.
That Royal Delivery catching that Firecracker before it gets anywhere close.
We've seen this matchup yesterday, I believe, too. But it was about the Earthquake positioning and also the Bomb Tower, if it's away. How far it's actually away, if it's not really making any dragging mistakes or not, away from the RG or the Hog Rider.
So how is either player going to break through? They've basically been playing a bit of footsie right now, just feeling each other out. What kind of move does Benzer have to do, or what move does Higher have to do to be able to win this G-Clef?
I mean, Higher does have a quicker cycle, faster cycle with the Hog, but if he actually lets that go away from the RG, he will be taking damage. But with this defense, the heal not going into that RG, that's painful. But Hire's found a very good cycle against that RG, having perfect defense.
Yeah, it's not exactly super painful, but it does hurt a little bit. You would expect a couple more hits from that Royal Giant there. And again, this push gonna be pretty much cleaned up here. Not much done for Benzer. Benzer struggling to break through and connect to these towers. He's got to find a way to make sure that that Firecracker lives and long enough to put some pressure on the defense, because this Royal Delivery has been shutting it down time and time again. Now we get to the point where it isn't going to be shut down.
Yeah, late Musketeer and also the Heal Spirit going in, so RG will get a couple of shots. That was a great timing by counter timing away from Hire's Hog Rider attack there. Yeah, Benzer finding nice groove.
Yeah, Benzer finally keeping that Firecracker alive, and it finally paid dividends. He got some damage done to the tower, but with the Earthquake coming through from Higher, any advantage he had has suddenly been lost again. 1394, but this Royal Giant, it's pretty healthy. Gets one shot more. 769 remains.
And no delivery against that RG this time, and Benzer saved up a lot against the previous Hog, because he had the Firecracker still alive just with the cage. Benzer saved up a lot more for more damage.
That Firecracker is still alive. Where's the Bomb Tower? The Bomb Tower doesn't come down. That's an RG hit. Is it shooting through the tower? Not quite. But the Firecracker
gets the damage.
Benzer Riddell. The Bomb Tower comes in, pushes the Royal Giant back, but at that point the Firecracker just had the right spread to be able to get those few little hits in that finished it up for him. It was looking real rough at the beginning. Every time the Firecracker got to the bridge with that Royal Giant, it was shut down. But then he finally found a way to split it up. The Hog Rider kind of working against Higher in that regard.
Yeah, Higher started to change the Musketeer into the right, so the RG gained more power. And also, when the Musketeer did not line up perfectly with the Hog Rider, then Benzer just used the cage and the remaining Firecracker, saving elixir for his maximum RG push and making his RG timing just a little faster against Higher, which made it a lot tougher.
Yeah, well, Higher doesn't play the Royal Delivery there because he kind of wanted to save it for if that Firecracker got close, but that Bomb Tower was just in the right spot to allow the Firecracker to get the damage through. Great play by Benzer, eventually finding a crack in the armor of Higher because he was playing so well at the beginning. Both players just put up walls and it was difficult to break through. Benzer comes out on top.
Yeah, big difference in this matchup, I would say Hire did not really use the heal spirit to heal his own too much, just to get those minions, the remaining HP minions down from the air, or even the skeletons from delaying any further. So, and while Benzer was actually actively healing RG oftentimes, so those were really the placement, not, I wouldn't say issues, but mind trick games between the two players.
He did get a couple of heals up on the Hog Rider, but even then, it was still shut down very, very quickly with both the Firecracker, the Goblin Brawler, and the Skeletons as well. Just shut it down before it healed back up, basically. So we are going to get Peas versus Benzer. Now, if it's the same as usual, Peas is going to bring a Golem deck here.
Yes.
Because he plays Golem at least once a week.
At least once a week, and usually at least one if he's winning a game. Or he starts with a Golem and then switches off to something else.
Yeah, so last week he did play a Golem deck. He won that, then switched and lost, and then switched again and won and closed out the set 2-1, winning first and third set. But this is King of the Hill. Only one matters. Do you risk bringing the Golem and being sniped? Or do you change it up and hope that your opponent brings something to counter the Golem?
So Peas, yeah, even after being sniped, he does go for that 3 crown. He basically gives up on one and says, okay, I got my massive push. The Golem deck we're talking about is one with the Tornado Lightning, the 3 spell with the Ice Wizard.
Yep.
That's basically the only Golem deck that has been played after the playoff. All from China. I believe few from TTG and also one from Peas, which actually had okay result. I think half and half.
Yeah, it's doing pretty well. It's not overbearing, but then the sample size is too small. There is practically one player in this league right now playing Golem.
And who's making it work, though, with the new, different changed Tornado.
He is known to be the best Golem player in China, and he pretty much is proving that. He is playing Golem time and time again. And sometimes you see a deck and you're like, well, why would he play that? But every time he plays Golem, it looks super strong. It looks unstoppable.
Yeah, but we've seen what TTG also tried. TT Gaming moving away from any type of heavier decks. No Golem, no Giants, except for a few Giant with the Graveyard or the minor Poison Push.
Could that be just based on who their opponents are?
Maybe, but week 1, it's really seemed like the entire team actually practiced Golem, and to try that deck at least once in their King of the Hill or 1v1 matchup. So that's the important thing. So from Benzer's point of view, does he go back to his old and bring one of his classic decks back?
So in King of the Hill, Benzer currently sits at about 50% win rate. Just a little bit above that now, 5-4. Peas, 4-5. So the opposites for each player, but what are we going to see in this one here? Royal Delivery straight out the bat for Benzer, stopping that baby dragon from crossing the bridge. Cannon cart from Benzer.
Oh, I think that lightning signals us something. And a mortar.
Wow,
Mortar from Benzer, but with the cannon cart this time.
So it is going to be mortar for Benzer, and it's looking like could be Graveyard
with a lightning.
Some weirder things in this tournament, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, mortar miner with the cannon cart. Last time it was with the Prince.
Oh, we'll see what happens here. Both players starting these initial opening, and it is going to be a Golem. And Cannon Cart played at the bridge with the bats, and it's going to get a healthy connection, but Ewiz comes down and stops that instantly. What does Benzer have to deal with this Golem? He's got the Cannon Cart, he's got a mortar to pull it.
He saved up nice amount of elixir with that Ewiz, beating all the bats and getting the cannon.
That lightning does a lot of work against the mortar. This Goblin Gang is gonna manage to take it down. No, does get arrowed out of existence. and the Spear Goblins are just going to help try to clean that up. 1566 remains on that tower, so Benzer has to be very proactive and basically has to shut down any chance for Peace to get that golem down on the field.
Yes, that lightning will come down against that mortar, but still will buy a good amount of time to actually drag it away. Okay, Peace has to be careful, but still Cannon.
That tower was down so quickly. Cannon Cart and the Goblin Gang.
Great read by Benzer there.
Knowing the golem would be coming down, and now we have just Mini P.E.K.K.A. and that golem coming in. The Baby Dragon is there behind. If Benzer can hold on for 20 more seconds, he will have the W here.
He will have only 20 seconds, but the golem already into Golemite. I think we're moving away to another Benzer win here. Peace just not making it work with that golem. Benzer, perfect lead on that timing with that golem drop, cannon cart push with that Goblin Gang. Became a winning condition for himself.
I mean, you look at the cards. Benzer's deck doesn't have many big tank killers that would survive the Golemite split, yet he still made it work. And he knew his opponent was waiting, chomping at the bit to throw that golem behind the tower. So what does he do? Instantly, he knows it's going down now. Cannon Cart, Goblin Gang, go, go, go. And that tower got deleted. Right here, look at the deletion on this. Just look how quick it disappears.
Yeah, tower locked onto the cart. The Goblin Gang. When they're locked onto the tower, their entire squad, it's gotta be melting down. And compared to the mortar, yeah, just a solid drag away. It's because of that Baby Dragon that was played before the golem. The Peace could not really find the best time, and also the delivery at the bridge. There's nothing else really powering up that golem from behind. And Benzer's got so many small units. The Goblin Gang, the Spear Goblins, even the Bats to take care of. He does have arrows, but if he's using arrows, his backup units are weaker.
Yeah, and you know that if he has arrows, you're not going to throw Spear Goblins and Goblin
not all
Gang
together.
and Bats together. Like, you just don't do it. You wait for the arrows, then you drop down everything else. Quality play from Benzer, taking the second win. And are we going to have a repeat of last week, where basically Benzer comes into a situation and just finishes King of the Hill? He seems to have found his groove again, because there was a point early in this season where Benzer did not look good.
Yeah, until he really kicked it back with the triple draft. Now he's in, already 2 wins. WDGN with only the last man to go, and that was Solomon.
Okay, so Benzer now has a 60% win rate in King of the Hill. If he wins this, it goes up. My math isn't good enough to figure out what 7 and 4 is, but nah, don't worry about it. Okay, Solomon. Solomon is an absolute monster. He is sitting also at a nice 60% win rate today. What do you reckon Solomon's going to be bringing? Do you think he's going to be bringing...
He does stick to lots of classic meta decks. Graveyard RG. Graveyard actually having one of the highest win rate right now among the meta decks, close to 67%-ish, including the games that we're playing today. And compared to that, actually, Wallbreakers still pretty low, lower than 40% win rate in the playoff games. And actually, we're having a lot more games to be stacked now. With the data sample, I believe it was about 25 games already with the Wallbreakers, and still lower than 40%. And this means something.
Yeah, it means that they only win 40% of the time.
Yes, and it's actually lower than that. 38, back to 38% now.
So last week we saw WEDGM basically play Royal Giant, Royal Giant, Royal Giant. This week we've had a pretty good mix of what they're going to bring. So do you think Solomon's going to play the same deck as Hire was playing with the Mega Knight Wallbreakers? Do you think he's going to play maybe the Hog Heal?
I think the Wallbreakers without the Mega Knight is actually a much safer in a way, because we see too many Mega Knight, and even from the games yesterday, there were some P.E.K.K.A.s just laying down to go against that Mega Knight specifically and just win the game because of that hard counter. It's a good way to actually prepare a deck if there are that many Mega Knights and potential of Mega Knight being in the Wallbreaker and the Graveyard. that's one card you sort of have to think about.
Well, we're soon going to be getting into this 3.5 to 4.0 being both players kind of bread and butter, with Benzer also sneaking under that with a lot of very quick cycle decks. Things like Hog Rider, things like the Royal Hogs. We saw a lot very early on in this season.
And
Not
I think,
so much anymore.
and I think if you are really trying to win the bridge fight, some bridge spam is actually also good. Not just P.E.K.K.A. Ram that we have seen from Jack yesterday. Some cannon cart Ram Rider also works.
Well, we're gonna get into this one. Benzer in red at the top has a chance to basically all kill WEDGM. Or will Solomon close this one up and take us to a game 5?
Royal Giant again from Benzer. Oh, Wall Breakers instead.
So good shout with the bandit here from Solomon. Looking at maybe bridge spam, maybe. Is there a few graveyard decks yesterday, I believe?
Still, yeah, Wall Breakers also possible. Yeah, from Solomon's side with the Mega Knight version, if it's with the E-Wiz.
Well, we'll have to see. Inferno Dragon does come down, cleans up that miner, and a Magic Archer from Benzer. We see the Magic Archers come back with a vengeance this week, just proving why they are considered one of the top cards in the game, in pros' hands. Like, when we play it, G-Clef, it never looks pretty, but when the pros play it, they always find the perfect angle to get those Magic Archer connections.
Yeah, they are certainly scary. And what's even worse is that Solomon, he's got that connection. Okay, skipping through with that jump, slowing down that mini P.E.K.K.A, but the miner basically went to town on that bottom.
Yep. So Ram Rider deck, Solomon with the customary head shake here. Wallbreaker's going down the same lane. Ewiz is going to be there to help clean that up. So Benzer just throwing a couple of elixir away there just to see if there is a weakness in his opponent. Just try to force something out of cycle, force your opponent off kilter. So pretty good so far. Back and forth. Benzer with a slight lead.
Yeah, what's hard for Solomon now is that every single card, even especially the card like Inferno Dragon, he has to play. He has to think about the positioning and yeah, all the Magic Archer shots that can be coming through.
So Solomon's just going to let those wall breakers connect down that right-hand side just to put more elixir into this. Mega Knight doesn't activate the King Tower because of that death damage. And oh, that Inferno Tower is connected to the tower. That tower's gone. Benzer with just out of time, didn't quite get what he needed done there. And that Inferno Dragon from Solomon takes the tower.
Well, Snowball against the bat just good enough to go all the way in. The mini P.E.K.K.A drop just a little too late there to connect onto the mini P.E.K.K.A.
Well, these wall breakers are not going to be able to finish this game, especially when they're snowballed away just like that. The Inferno Dragon at the top, the Bandit. Benzer tries everything, but nothing sticks. Solomon takes game 4 with, could we say, a lucky Inferno Dragon connection.
That Inferno was supposed to be a card that doesn't really work too well against what Benzer has. Lots of small troops, the bats, wall breakers, skeletons just popping everywhere all the time to stop that Inferno. But to reach the tower like that, you never really expect in this matchup that snowball to delete the bats first. Real good, and the early poison to get the bomb tower plus the magic archer was those two spells. Yeah, basically becoming the winning condition and the delivery pushing it back forwards into the tower.
It looked as though it should have connected to the mini P.E.K.K.A, or at least the Royal Recruit or something that was there.
I think it was already pushed from the delivery and it didn't start beaming out, but it was already locked onto the tower before the mini P.E.K.K.A dropped down because its position was already knocked before it actually locked onto the Princess Tower. So Solomon, yep, didn't really expect Inferno Dragon to be the win condition in this way. And Ram Rider did help a little bit, but those two spells, right moment, perfect timing. Yeah, and a big, let's say, Delivery is one of those cards where it's always good to bridge spam, but when you're when you have to place it away from the bridge, unless it's for like a goblin barrel, which is really super easy. But anything other than those two types, the timing can be a little bit late, and that's why these things sort of happen in a game sometimes.
Right. Benzer out. Ice Law in. Now, Ice Law has a 71. Let me just double check that. I looked at it. Yeah, 71% win rate in King of the Hill. And then in 1v1 sets, he has a 75% win rate. The guy is an absolute monster. He bought Goblin Giant Sparky last week to close out his set 2-0 because the guy doesn't lose. His first game was a graveyard deck. Do you think he's going to go Goblin Giant Sparky this week? We haven't seen it so far.
Not yesterday at all.
Yeah.
But we've seen the Giant Sparky instead.
Yep.
Giant Sparky was another win condition. The Sparky actually connected. Without that shot, it could have been a game for the other side, but that's how you win with the Sparky deck.
How Pure Opponent has a Musketeer, and the Musketeer sitting right next to the tower. That's how you win with the Sparky deck.
Yeah, we were having this discussion even after the broadcast.
Yeah. It's such a shame because Musketeer you always see it. It's always through the Musketeer that he gets the connection on the tower, and you're just like, oh man, it hurts. Hurts so bad.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. Well, let's see what Ice Law is going to bring, because even during the season, he did really step up with his cycle, especially the wall breakers that he was using. Near flawless, lots of victories by far in difference in Princess Tower HP, because he was basically baiting it so well, especially the splits that he do. Ice Law baiting a lot more cards from the opponent with those wall breakers. Let's see if Solomon brings the same deck or anything else that he has prepared.
Do you know what brings down Ice Law's win rate here to 66.7?
Which game?
Triple Draft. When he won 1, lost 2, and has a 33% win rate. The guy doesn't lose. I told you, 71% King of the Hill, 75% in the 1v1 sets. And the guy plays practically everything. I don't think there's a deck I've ever seen Ice Law play that hasn't been good. But if anyone can stop him today, it is Solomon. Solomon has proven time and time again he is the player to just dent people's hopes and dreams.
Yep. As we're getting ready to go into the final Game 5, King of the Hill. Yeah, one game for Ice Law. We'll bring the set. Such an important single game to bring a set win for the team. WEDGM or Kicks. Let's see what happens. Game 5. On the top, Ice Law in red. Solomon at the bottom in blue.
So just quick fact. Benzer has lost to Solomon twice this season. Both in King of the Hill. Will Ice Law be able to get a W on the board? They have not faced each other before. Ice Law was not present in that first match.
Ball. So are we going towards Balloon just a little bit further? Or even with the Graveyard? With the Cage Mega Minion? 3 exact identical same cards.
Dark Prince. Is this a mirror match?
Graveyard versus Graveyard?
Did we accidentally load up the wrong rule set here, and this is a mirror match where both players start with identical cards and identical cycles? Because that's how it's looking right now. There we go, finally. Delivery play right at the back. Okay. Well.
Yeah, it depends on which card you get. It's most of the time not exactly the same for both players.
This one looks like it will be an exact mirror matchup. Snowball comes out again from Solomon, just cycling that. The Goblin Brawler is going to get taken down by the tower. So when you have a mirror matchup like this, how do you find basically the room to differentiate from your opponent and take a W?
It's how much elixir you are willing to save. Sometimes by sacrificing your tower HP by little and doing a little more, or having in this type of graveyard mirror matchup, yeah, that one bullet from Musketeer, you can't take it because that's basically a poison. One early poison, offensive poison, or defensive, that usually seals the end result for these kind of mirror matchup.
So both players still trying to just find a weakness in each other's play style, find a way to break through, find the right timing to drop down their key cards. They're just feeling each other out still, even though we're in double elixir time. Royal Recruit this time played by Islaw at the back, and there is the Graveyard first from Solomon. Islaw does have that defensive Graveyard, and the Recruit is definitely helping out. Sorry, defensive Poison, not defensive Graveyard. That would be insane. So defensive Poison comes out.
Yeah,
now
which
he's
is
pushing across the bridge.
one less offensive poison that Islaw can do.
Well, see both players still kind of stuck in these mid battles. Solomon going for a bridge poison.
Yeah, that's why Islaw immediately, okay, he has the archers instead of the musketeer. Islaw waits for that archer timing. It's a great decision.
Not a lot of damage done by those skeletons this time round, but sometimes you just got to throw it out there. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And that time, definitely a miss.
Yeah, but still, these type of poison depends on how much value you can actually get. Okay, nothing coming across the bridge.
Are these bridge poisons hurting Solomon in a way? Because
He's getting its value by taking down the musketeer, but he's not doing the tower damage, and Islaw is getting some more advantage because of it.
this Mega Minion's going to trade one blow, two blows, and then the Star Prince is going to run across the bridge.
Yeah, that's exactly what Islaw is baiting here, placing that musketeer near the bridge, making sure that poison is away from his own tower. And Solomon decides, okay, I can't take any more poison damage directly. I have to go offensive.
Yeah, and this time Islaw decides not to blow his own poison on the defense.
Yeah, only about 200 off, only a single poison away.
So again, poison coming down. Pretty much the only damage. I don't think any skeletons got any work done again.
Yeah, good positioning again. Yeah, Archer is all the way to the side of Mega Minion on the left, so it doesn't take the poison damage.
Another push. This time there's a lot of big bodies in front of this. Poison comes down. The Graveyard's getting some work done. The Royal Recruit, the Royal Delivery comes down just in time, 1096. And that is a very interestingly placed Graveyard here. Solomon looking to distract all those troops on the bridge and maybe push through.
He wanted to get the poison there. I think that was the key. Solomon had a big miss. Even before that, some of the troops crossing over the bridge. Islaw taking a very big advantage, only 5 seconds. I think that's about game.
Yeah, it looks as though it is Solomon hitting himself after putting down that Graveyard there instead of the poison. I was thinking, you know what? Maybe it was intentional. Most definitely.
He wanted to get the maximum out by taking out the musketeer, plus doing the tower damage, because right before that, yeah, few of the units did get to cross the bridge. At least 3 skeleton hits coming down from Islaw's side, understanding, just eliminating his own defensive poison at all. And great set of choices with the musketeer positioning all the time. Islaw just had this game. Yeah, from overtime, he certainly just had the lead by at least by 200 every single time.
Yeah, and this was the Graveyard that basically did the most amount of damage. And there, look at that. That Graveyard was... it can't be intentional, right? Or is it intentional?
No, it had to be.
It's really hard to say.
It had to be a poison. He wanted to get the musketeer and the Mega Minion and few other units, because he placed the cage on the bridge to get the musketeer stay in that poison spot. And yep. But I think even with that poison, Solomon could have had another chance with the Graveyard, but still Islaw had a big lead in this mirror matchup. So I think it was going to be Islaw's win regardless. And so great game by these kind of mirror matchup. Literally tells skills, and there's no argue if you have Archer Musketeer. It's 0.1 less average elixir, and in terms of the cycle, you can get advantage in that if you use that well enough. But still, Islaw was always waiting for that Archer placement and then using that poison just at the edge of the circle, so it does catch maybe the Dark Prince with one more tick to get the shield off, or even the Mega Minion to hurt some more HP off that Mega Minion. Yeah, Islaw just had the lead overall.
Yep, so kicks do take that King of the Hill set.
Great game.
Yeah, I mean, mirror matchups are always interesting because you have to basically goad your opponent into doing certain things that maybe they're not comfortable with, and they're trying to do the same to you. So, phenomenal. I really enjoy that mirror matchup. The only difference being the Archer Musketeers, it's just like, man, that's my jam.
Yeah, it's basically the same, and we've seen a lot more archers in a way. So yeah, to get that speed, Musketeer has the damage, but oftentimes archers can have the speed of taking down those skeletons. But mirror matchups, in lots of teams, I do hear from lots of teams, mirror matchup is actually one of the first thing that they try with the deck when they're scrimming within the team.
Okay.
So mirror matchup actually winning from these kind of mirror matchup from an opponent that's from the other team, it's gonna boost your pride in a very good way.
Well, we are getting into the triple draft relatively soon. We have to assume Benzer for kicks. Who are we thinking from WEDGM? Are they going to go for Solomon again?
Yes. Why not?
I mean, Solomon has played the most triple draft out of everyone.
Except for one, I think, right?
Yeah, except for one.
Yes.
The only time he didn't was against B-King, when it was higher instead of Solomon against Nova Esports. But gotta say, Solomon isn't particularly doing well right now.
Well, even
in that
with
triple draft.
Yeah, even with these losses, and I remember it was super defensive, even with Royal Recruit sometimes, with double buildings to go super defensive, just blocking out any sort of damage and winning with some spell damage like the Earthquake or the Poison, even some zaps from Solomon. Did not really work out for himself. That's why he kept on recording these losses for a triple draft.
So yeah, triple draft player standings. Neither of these teams have a player in the top 5. And look at that line now guaranteed pretty much to finish second because Talon are out. So there's no more losses on there. So we'll see what happens. Their records in here. Pyre has a 100% win rate but has only played 2 games, whereas Solomon has played 16 and boasts a 43% record. Benzer basically came out and became the triple draft player. 4 kicks, 9 and 8. Not having the best of runs right now in triple draft, but still an incredible triple draft there.
Yeah. Oh. And even from the games.
Ooh. What's that?
Not Solomon.
That's higher, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, bringing out your 100% win rate player, I guess, even though he's only played 2 games. And it is going to be Benzer from kicks. No surprises on that one.
Yeah, but for a triple draft, I don't. It does matter, but it matters less on who your opponent is. Understanding the style does help, but it's more of the choices that you're given and also from your opponent. I think that's the important take for the triple draft, and it does matter who your opponent is, but a lot less compared to 1v1. You can't really choose exactly the deck you want to.
Could this be a repeat of what we saw last week with WEDGM? They lost King of the Hill. If he loses the triple draft, will WEDGM be able to come back against an opponent like Kicks? It's gonna be difficult.
Just waiting for it. If you just imagine what the lineup is going to be for their 1v1 set, it is going to be difficult. Let's see, in triple draft, this game 1, Benzer going back to back, basically after Ice Law. I think there's also a chance that he can also just straight up play set 3 or even just go for set 4.
Can you imagine that? You closed out. You did incredibly well in the King of the Hill. You win the triple draft and then you win set 3 for your team. That's the dream right there. We can see both players just drafting the cards. Unfortunately, as you see here, we do not have access to what they're drafting. One could only assume that we're gonna see
Upended. We were only having access when we had offline China versus China triple draft match, but that cannot happen anymore during the season, unfortunately.
Because WEDGM are the only Chinese team left in the tournament.
So let's see. The spells, win condition, right there. Wallbreaker, Hog Rider.
Skarmy as well. Skarmy coming down from higher. Hog Rider gets 0 hits. These skeletons are going to do nothing. And both players just... I mean, Benzer's played 4 cards already.
Very cheap in cycle. Yeah, average 2 elixirs now. Well, there's the bandit.
And a bowler, so yeah, bowler, bandit, that is your tank support category. Checked off there, the E-Wiz comes down. Fireball it out of existence. Will that Inferno get a hit? Nope, it's not going to lock on, but that bowler is going to get at least 1, almost 2.
Bye-bye. Well, arrows. So I think Benzer wants to split the wall breakers oftentimes. Yeah, they're pretty good key cards. Yeah, the bowler, Skarmy, even the arrows from higher to block those shots from going in directly to the tower. Unless he has another building card available.
Well, we're going to have to wait and see what these final 2 cards are. There is no prediction. It is the Firecracker and a poison down from Benzer. There's the Hog Rider. US with the skeletons is going to only get 1 hit here.
Yeah,
those wall breakers are going to get 1, 2 hits. And now it's all changed. Benzer basically took the lead with this push. And the bandit connects too. It was looking at the Spear Goblin like, I'm going to go for you. The Spear Goblin just moves out of the way. The bandit connects into the tower. And Benzer now just has to play defense pretty much and poison cycle to finish it off. A couple of poisons will do it for him.
Big plays. Benzer saved the delivery and took that Hog Rider hit so that he could buy an earlier timing for that wall breaker. And that wasn't enough. He said, okay, you're putting down a hut? I've got my poison and some more dash potential with the bandit.
So choosing to let those wall breakers hit, it's probably the best
Half
choice,
left.
but it's rough when you are higher in this situation.
Yeah, fireball.
It's pretty good value, but still only 1 hit from that Hog Rider. Wallbreaker is not going to get anything done. Skarmy comes down and just stops it dead in its tracks.
Yeah, Inferno, when there's an E-Wiz, yeah, just stays in the air, doesn't really do anything higher. Because there's a cage and so many tools to go against the Hog Rider, yeah, higher will just not have it.
There's a poison. It's going to need 2 more to finish that tower. Assuming he doesn't get any other extra damage in.
So Hire really has to save that Firecracker in a way so that it could go towards the tower, maybe sometimes even activating the King Tower.
There's the Royal Delivery coming down. His opponent doesn't have anything. The Skarmy comes down. It's going to be enough to stop the wall breakers. The answer is obviously yes. And Skarmy once again saving the day here for Hire. But how much more can it do? It's going to get quite a bit of damage in here.
Yeah, to the right, it doesn't really matter for Hire at this moment. Yeah, Benzer, another perfect choice. Perfect. Yeah, timing to go against the hut with that poison. You can't really stop it right now. Hire needs a miracle with this Firecracker plus the Hog.
But he is getting Firecracker damage through that bandit. The Hog Rider's there. Fireball onto the tower, but I think he knows poisons come in. When it does, that is it. Benzer takes game 1 of the triple draft here.
Arrows and Fireball with the Hog Rider.
You gotta wonder what the rest of the choices were. Fireball,
100% EQ was not there. Then the other 2 had to be...
It depends in the order though, because maybe he got
Hog Rider after the big spell.
Yeah,
that's right.
So the wall breakers did get that connection. There wasn't really much Hire could do to stop that. He only had 4 elixir and wanted to try and play the hut. And here, look at this. The bandit comes in.
Yeah, if you
takes a look. No. He gets the connection.
Yeah, if you go all the way from the side, and the hut one towards the other side, then you get that. You do get that dash into the tower.
That fireball there pushing the Goblin Brawler into the Hog Rider.
There were some good fireballs, but just not the best spell against what Benzer has. E-Wizard still survives after a fireball. And just surviving it does go against that Inferno Dragon couple of times, just wasting that 4 elixir in the air for Hire.
1,296 damage done by a poison from Benzer. I just quick math that, so I'm probably wrong. But that's a lot of damage to get done with just the spell card. He played it 6 times, and every time it connected into that tower.
Yeah, and just the bandit with the dash. Yeah, just the naked bandit into the princess tower. I think it's about 1,000 damage, and he didn't really do anything to stop that, I believe. He was willing to take it for maybe a better hog attack along with the bowler. Did not really work out because of the Inferno Dragon. So yeah, lots of choices, which Solomon might have thought that Benzer was going to go somewhat heavy. There had to be some type of heavy, yeah, my mistake there. So Solomon used to be the player all the time. So still stuck.
Got Solomon on your mind. It was higher, yeah.
Still stuck in my head, but there had to be some type of heavy tank, like Giant at least. Maybe a Lava?
In the options?
In the option from Benzer's side. And then thought, okay, Inferno... let's be safe and choose an Inferno Dragon just in case.
Well, he went Skarmy as well, so...
Maybe a P.E.K.K.A.?
P.E.K.K.A.'s anti-tank, so yeah, probably. Maybe saw the Giant as well. Thought maybe we can Skarmy that. We don't know. We don't get to see those choices. But we will be getting into Game 2 relatively soon. If Benzer closes this off...
That's 2-0.
But it's looking like a repeat of last week where WEDGM were 2 down by the end of Triple Draft against Fav Gaming and then just went, okay, I'm done. We're finished playing games here. Let's just take him outside, finish off Fav's streams. Which is what they did. They went
it's possible, but let's not go that far because I think Fav back then and now are different, and also Kicks as a team is very different from Fav too. So in a different matchup, anything could still happen.
Okay, so still early in the draft.
Yeah, Higher could turn this around against Benzer. 2 in a row will tie us up in one score in set.
So which win condition would you never pick now, E-Golem? Has Elixir Golem's time finally come to an end?
I think Expo's also another win condition that I never pick.
Mortar?
Sometimes.
It's a rough
if
win
it comes out later.
Yeah. I feel like Mortar and Expo require so much structure around the rest of the deck that you can never pick them early on.
Yeah, if you have a 4.0 Expo deck.
Good luck. You're doing nothing until the triple elixir time.
You might just have your Expo in your hand forever.
All right, so we are here. Triple draft game 2. Benzer to game 1 with some nice bandit and poison play.
Magic Archer.
Will he be able to do it now?
Anti-air from Higher. And cheap anti-air minions from Benzer.
Magic Archer, just such a card. It's going to get a connection in maybe here. Delivery's trying to stop that, but it still gets 1, 2. Even though you try your hardest to stop it. Oh, well, Benzer loses. Benzer loses that bandit. The bandit does connect into the tower, and that is
See how much damage the bandit does?
Yeah. Sparky from Benzer, though. Okay.
Giant Sparky.
Unfortunately, you don't get the time, and the zap comes down. Nothing to stop this Mega Knight from jumping in. Just get a hit, though. Fireball will finish that off.
Beautiful from Higher.
Yep. Higher controlling this one right from the get-go.
Throws out that good game.
Do you remember days in esports where you throw out the good game and meant it was over, regardless of if you were doing it sarcastically?
If you type it, yes. If you type it, and if you type anything else, you also lose.
Ah, the old days.
Yeah, also Magic Archer when Benzer's placement has to be hard, but they're so slow that Higher can use that angle at least a shot or more. Yeah, with that Magic Archer if it's used later. But at least Benzer would likely to grab these Mega Knight with the Hunter, but he has to sacrifice the Giant.
Yep, as you said, sacrifices the Giant to get the Hunter with those big
Inferno
Tower.
Oh no!
So
talk about your worst triple draft game.
I was gonna say it was going bad for Benzer before with the Inferno Tower against the Giant. It just went from bad to the worst
Bad to worst to
possible
hell and nightmare mode for Benzer.
If he wins this, if Benzer does win this, it'll be nothing short of a miracle.
And Hire has Zap. So this is
At least he doesn't have Rocket.
yeah, okay. That's
Silver linings.
One other-
Silver linings
okay.
for Benzer here.
okay, so he has to keep that Hunter alive 100%.
Magic Archer played deep here to try and get some work. Lightning comes
Fireball.
in, Fireball, but that Sparky is still around. Oh, the Skeleton's coming just in time. The Mega Minion is going to be there, and the Zap.
Yeah, he had another way with the Mega Knight too. But he just did not have enough elixir, had to go down with the skeleton. Let's see Benzer how he goes with this push again. So Lightning helping out a lot. And Goblin Gang, not bad for distraction.
Yeah, but I mean, he is making it work. It's getting done here. The minions from Benzer distracted that Inferno Tower long enough for this Giant to actually get into tower range. Does get a big punch there, 1153. And Benzer's impossible climb looks like it might actually be possible here.
With the delivery, gets it done, keeps the Hunter alive. That's an important cue.
Not much longer though, because it is going to get hit by that Magic Archer.
Yeah, that's good though. Using it defensively, which means that Hire cannot have another win condition. Yeah,
This
placing it
Giant
away.
gotta move into range. It does. It moves into the angle. The Zap to keep it there. It's still going. That Magic Archer proves to be a huge difference between these two players.
Hire still needs 2 Fireball into the tower. Sparky almost got a shot. The Mega Knight dropped just before that.
I pretty much tensed up. I was expecting the Sparky to get that big connection, but it didn't.
Oh, if Sparky... Okay, the Giant's gonna cover it.
Oh! Oh, I thought that was just in range. Lightning comes down. There's a Fireball. One more Fireball will finish this one. 137 remains here.
Yeah,
2 Magic Archers.
pretty cheap Psycho, Bandit, Skeleton, and then one more card for Fireball. That's it. Hire does secure it, but Benzer almost brought it back with perfect delivery timing and the Giant. Sparky always away. It was going to be rough because the Giant always, two tools that are moving super slow. If it's locked on, it will at least get a couple of hits into the tower from the Magic Archer shots. But still a very good game for Benzer though.
Yeah, that match was very much like Lion King, where Mufasa is Benzer in this situation. He's climbing up, he's trying to get out, and then Hire is just like, long live the king, and just lets him go. I mean, it was looking real bad for Benzer. Every tool Hire could have to stop whatever Benzer wanted to do was there.
You can buy some time, but without the delivery in perfect timing, the Magic Archer was going to get at least a couple of shots. Not every single time, but mostly with that Giant placement.
That was the Fireball that finished the dreams of Hire to take Game 2. And we will shortly be getting into Game 3 between these two to close out the triple draft. Fireball, 6 Fireballs, that equals roughly 1,206 something.
Yes. 201 times 6.
Oh, 1 times 6 is
Yes.
6. Oh my goodness, I'm an idiot.
I'm a genius. Lightning. And the Lightning saved the day for Benzer, which is usually paired up with the Goblin Giant Sparky deck that we see not as often this week, but we did see a lot during the regular season and also sometimes last week.
You know, when we say saves the day, it generally means that you won. It didn't save the day. It
could have been,
delayed
yeah.
the inevitable. It delayed the inevitable. Hire, if there was a computer AI out there that would work out matchups, at that point, probably had Hire at 99.9% chance of winning. And then Benzer took that 0.1%, pulled the percentage back, turned it into an arrow, and almost struck down Hire. It was a very close triple draft, and it had no right being that close.
Yeah, maybe even if we brought Alpha Clash Royale for what Benzer had against the deck that we just had for Hire.
I still
Maybe?
think. Nah,
No?
not even close. I still
No,
think
no.
Higher had the matchup.
With the perfect timing, perfect placement on every single unit all the time.
If you played 10,000
With AI.
games, if you played 10,000 games,
Mhm.
I would still say Higher wins every time with those two decks.
10,000 games?
10,000 games. I would
If you
still
play
say Higher.
10,000, I think there are at least like one disconnect.
Oh yeah, the only way that Benzer could have won that is if Higher disconnected.
Yeah, because someone calls you. But of course, all the players, they are just on the flight mode,
Airplane mode. Yeah.
airplane mode, so you can't get a phone call.
Well, anyway, we're gonna get into Game 3 of Triple Draft here. Benzer versus Higher. If Benzer wins this, Kicks are 2-0 up in the match score. But if Higher takes it, we do go to 1-1.
Giant is a win condition, but usually it's not alone. It's not like Golem where it does the death damage and usually has to be paired up with lots of other tools like the Minor Poison, Sparky,
Graveyard. But in this, you can't get Graveyard and Giant, so that...
Yeah, they're both win conditions.
Yeah, Mega Knight's still a win condition.
Well,
Okay.
Higher one with that Mega Knight.
You did indeed.
If you win the bridge, this meta, if you win bridge, you win.
If you win bridge, you're halfway to winning the war. Flying Machine from Benzer. Bandit again for Higher. That means we do have tank support.
No
Benzer
fireball?
chooses the bowler.
He's going to eat those shots.
Bowler gets there in time. Of course, the Bandit does dash through that one boulder.
Yeah, invincible dash through anything. And a Hog Rider Heal Spirit. Still yet to see the win condition for Benzer. Oh, Higher does have the fireball, but
Knowing his opponent has Magic Archer, you want to save it for that instead of the Flying Machine. Smart play by Higher. Just holding on to that fireball. Might not have been in cycle, but I think Magic Archer is a much more potent threat than Flying Machine.
yeah, Higher had Bandit perfectly placed so that it would eat the shot and it was in the range of Princess Tower. What's Benzer's win condition?
Magic Archer.
Oftentimes can become the win
Flying Machine
condition.
gets a connection. Just one hit though. Bowler trying to do what it can to stop this Hog Rider from getting damage, but Benzer does eat a couple of hits there.
So Benzer placing the hut so it doesn't get caught by the fireball, plus one other unit. We'll see the other placement of the Magic Archer or the Flying Machine now. Ooh, the skeletons, but still the Spear Goblins.
Yeah, good game thrown out by Benzer, knowing that he has taken an ever so slight elixir lead here.
Now double elixir time with that Ram Rider goes in spam. But the Hog Rider or the Bowler comes in just a little too late because of that Ram Rider first.
Yep, so 9-2-4 on Benzer's top tower. He's taken a lot of damage and hasn't done much in return to Higher here. Gotta question that Goblin Hub placement, putting it on that side to the tower because Fireball's there.
Yeah, I think Benzer wants to first defend and make his push a little better, along with the Spear Goblins, but they're already gone.
Will we get a connection on tower? No, Fly Machine does not connect, and E-Wiz comes down, just piling on the hurt on Benzer Riddell's game right now. Fireball comes in again here. 5-2-2 remains.
Bowler just a little too slow away from the Hog Rider. Here comes the maybe second to the final push from Benzer. Finally gets the damage into the tower, but still over 2,000 to go.
Yeah, the E-Wiz there just came down and stopped the damage. Short of what it could have done. This Hog Rider is going to get a big connection. Fireball as well. 57 remains, and the Hog Rider doesn't care. Finishes it off, and we are one apiece in the match between Kicks and WEDGM.
Fireball! Triple draft. I think Fireball, I think 2 spells, Fireball, Lightning, helping out a lot. Especially when Yeah, especially when you are seeing those type Magic Archer or Flying Machine on the other side.
Yeah, Bar Barrel was the small spell for hire.
And Cage, is perfect tool with the E-Wiz, stopping the Flying Machine and the Ram Charge.
And I mean, it's like looking at the triple draft decks. This is incredibly difficult for Benzer to win. Again, 2 games where you could arguably say he had the lesser of the 2 drafts from what we see. It hurts. It's gotta hurt Benzer. It's gotta be like, okay, what could I have done better? And when you get to these top players, that's something they will think. What could I have done better when I lost this? The problem with triple draft is most of the time there isn't an answer to that.
Yeah, Benzer had to stack up some Spear Goblins, and even with the bowler, then you spawn. When it's about to go towards a bridge, then it's a Ram Rider time. But yeah, from the opponent's side, he knows that's coming. That's going to be the timing where Benzer is going to be the strongest. So right before that, Hog Rider, you go first. You're going to get that tower destroyed even before, because you ended up doing so much more than Benzer did. So yeah, acted really smart. Higher. That actually seemed like a Hog Rider deck to me, with the Hill Spirit and with the Cage. Had a lot of those meta cards along with the Fireball, so it worked like a charm.
Well, it's done. We are one apiece. We can throw away the King of the Hill. We can throw away the triple draft. It's 1v1s only from now on. For me, 1v1 only heavily favors WEDGM.
Really?
As much as I love kicks, and I've made no secret of hiding the fact that I am very biased towards kicks, WEDGM's 1v1 scares me.
Yes, they do. But the one thing that does concern me is that P's already went down with the Golem.
Now he's already played 1 Golem. You don't need to bring him out again. That's
so
one of the scariest
what do you
things.
think is the lineup is going to be? Solomon higher or higher Solomon?
Solomon higher Wonga, I want to say.
Wonga?
I think that's one of the
piece.
powers that WEDGM has, is that their whole team are capable of coming out in this 1v1 set and taking Ws. You see some other teams, they have like the players where you're like, okay, maybe you were supposed to be a 2v2 player and you have to play the 1v1 now. WEDGM does not look like that at all.
I think it's similar, at least more distributed among the players. For kicks, of course, Onion, JTB, no 1v1, but because that was regular season was best of 3, but they played, JTB at least played a game in the King of the Hill. Onion played a whole lot of King of the Hill games, so I think Onion also has good potential to come out in 1v1, at least in like set 4.
Wonga coming out first. I'd have expected Solomon or higher at least to come out first.
I do agree on that.
But Wonga coming out, Wonga
Onion.
has and it's going to be Onion. Okay, both teams kind of playing. I'm looking for Wonga's stats here. 5 and 4 in King of the Hill. Has done nothing in 1v1 or triple draft. So he hasn't played that much, and that could play into his advantage. There isn't a lot of data on Wonga, especially after the last balance update.
Yeah, lost against Jack from Bob Gaming. Just 1 game with the standard 3.6 graveyard. But that was it. One game loss from King of the Hill. Nothing
Only in
else.
playoffs. In the regular season, he didn't go up against many people. He did kill Nuomichi in AUK, lost to D-King. He beat Rad, Reiki Jones, and lost to KK. Beat Elsiop, lost to B-King. But there isn't much data on Wonga after the balance update. So maybe this is WEDGM's play. Throw out someone in set 3 who your opponent cannot get much data about.
We'll see. Onion, on the other hand, there's a lot of data, but a lot of big data pool. Meaning that he played lots of different decks. In the playoff, of course, Graveyard Wallbreaker.
And today he played Graveyard too, so what is he going to be bringing this time with the Firecracker and the Goblin Cage, the Heal Spirit? You want to say Royal Giant, right?
With the goblins and minions, of course, can be a replacement of skeletons and bats. I think hogs are also okay.
Could be Hawk, could be Hawk. There's the Royal Delivery. Pushing back the Miner and then appearing in front of it to stop any extra damage coming through. And the Musketeer coming from Wonga and an EQ from Onion. So Hog Rider?
Hog or RG. Either is fine.
Well, we'll see what Onion has chosen here. Is that coming down? That clears that up. That Musketeer is still alive in the back. That's making life a little bit difficult from Onion, but still very well defended.
So I think Wonga is also waiting for that RG timing. Activation. Yeah, good activation there.
If it is a Hog Rider, no, it is going to be the Royal Giant here. So what does Wonga have to defend this? Not much looking at it. He doesn't have a building. The Royal, yeah, the Firecracker from behind helps clean that up. And look at the damage that Royal Giant got through. 1-3, 1-4 remaining. Onion takes a commanding lead as we go into that double elixir period.
Even a shot from the Firecracker will be chipping in a couple of hundred all the time. And Wonga took too much damage actually. Even before, I think he could have had some chance to go in early wall breaker, but his early cycle didn't really fit what Onion had to begin with.
And it does get a connection on that left-hand side. Minions do clean that up. These wall breakers, though, that
Good
wall
zap,
breaker is going
though.
to get through. One big hit from a wall breaker. The Bandit stopped by the Royal Delivery. 8-4-5, so just 4 Earthquakes will finish it, or a couple of hits from the Fire.
Or even the RG if it goes straight into the tower shots. So Wonga tried some. The fancy attack with the zap was not perfect, was not enough.
He's going to get 1 hit. Is he going to get 2? No, the Bats and the Bandit. The Bats and the Musketeer do help close that down, but it is looking bad for Wonga here. But we've seen surprises today. Could we see another one?
I think this will not be one of those surprises as we have load in another RG with the heal. And the Earthquake comes down, another shot. That seals the game. Onion takes the first game out of Wonga's hand. And Wallbreaker for... Okay, it could have started much earlier with the split. If he had Wallbreakers to begin with in the starting hand. But Onion didn't really give him too much opening. And he had to really... Wonga was maybe thinking, okay, maybe I can delay this a little bit more and make sure I delete the Firecracker, but he had the zap and delivery was always away from the Firecracker. He was having a hard time, and activating the King Tower doesn't really do too much against an RG deck.
Yeah, if it would have been the Hog Rider deck that possibly could have been, that would have made it a lot harder to get the W with the King Tower activation. But when it is RG, it doesn't matter. And I mean, yeah, what can we say that hasn't already been said? What do you think about the Goblin minion choice over the usual Skelly Bats?
Skelly Bats, they go down to Snowball Zap, but Goblin and minions, they do survive. So it requires sometimes another set of damage. So I think it's usually the 2.9 with the Bat Skeleton, but with those two choices, 3.1, this made his backup units survive just a little more tick. If Onion's against the Firecracker on the other side, let's say if Wonga brought his own RG or the Hog Rider deck with the Firecracker, then it doesn't really make a big difference. Yeah, but in this case, when there's only a zap and a few other tools to actually get those small units, then it actually does.
Yep. I like the deck selection from Onion. Wonga never really got going in that match. It felt very much like he was stuck in first gear. Like he couldn't really get momentum going. He couldn't build anything. He couldn't get the damage in when he needed to. And it just felt like Onion was putting a brick in front of the car. I
The
don't-
RG, yeah, no building. There are some wall breaker Mega Knight with minor Mega Knight with the cage, but not really played too many times. Usually with the building, then no Mega Knight.
Mhm.
Those are going to be the trade, I think, for the wall breaker minor decks. But in this case, he had to basically put down everything, the bats and all the small units on top of the RG. And when that's exactly the reason why you bring Firecracker along with that RG to wipe those small units out, and then you're pretty much good to go, at least for a shot or two.
That is the power of the Firecracker.
Mhm.
It's a ridiculous card. But you know what isn't ridiculous? We're getting into game 2 between Wonga and Onion. Onion taking a very commanding game 1 for kicks. Will he be able to do it again in game 2, or will Wonga be able to come back into this one? We'll find out soon. And the Goblin Cage comes down from Onion.
Yep. Before the game started today, RG Firecracker, 50% win rate. 5 out of 5. 5 out of 10.
I was going to say 5 out of 5, G. Clef. That's 100.
Yeah, 5 wins, 5 losses. Again? RG for Onion. And Wongar might be trying out some Graveyard.
There is an Earthquake coming down here. Musketeer does manage to finish off the Firecracker, so the Firecracker's not going to put a World of Hurt in on Onion. And it is looking like the same deck.
Yes, exactly the same with the Goblin and also maybe the Minion.
Could be throwing a curveball, making it look like it's going to be the Royal Giant. Throws down a Hog Rider, but that is a very, very big stretch, I believe.
Yeah, don't really see the cage paired up with the Hog too many times.
There it is. The Royal Giant is there. Firecracker's just going to start raining death from far below. And now there is a Goblin Cage, but still takes 1 hit from that Royal Giant. If we could just keep stacking those up, it will be Onion's game. But Wonga's got to have a few tricks of his own. He's got to start getting pushes going, because again, he hasn't really done too much damage to the tower.
Yeah, Wonga still waiting for that double elixir time, and this is still really good. Over 2,000 on both. Oh, now a little less, but this is still okay. A lot of players still believe about 1800 before that double elixir time for Graveyard. Says, okay, that's not too much damage actually taken.
We'll see what happens. Will he be able to clean this one up? The Musketeer is going to take a lot of damage from the tower. The Goblin Brawler isn't going to get much done, and there is the Royal Giant Blade. It's going to eat a couple of Dark Prince hits. No. Does sacrifice the Firecracker there. Not sure how I feel about that. We're going to have to see if that plays into Wonga's favor. Mega Minion again getting a massive hit. The Brawler stopped at the last second. It looks as though the cycle might be falling apart ever so slightly for Onion. He might have to get back on track here.
Yeah, forcing out a Firecracker with that Barbarian spawn, good. And then a Poison. Yeah, without the Graveyard, but you do want to get that Firecracker so you can sort of stop that RJ from spawning.
The Goblin Cage is down. That's going to slow down the
Yeah,
RG.
Yeah, without the Firecracker, yeah, Onion, on the left all of a sudden now.
Fakes with the Heal Spirit on the right. Goes with the RG on the left. Is this going to pay off? He is getting quite a bit of damage in, especially with the Firecracker getting that little bit of extra damage here.
The delivery does not stop the Dark Prince, and here comes the Graveyard. Can this save the day for Wonga?
What does Onion really have to stop the Graveyard? EQ? Delivery minions, but the minions will eventually succumb to the poison.
Yeah, Minions, Goblins still pretty weak against the Poison, so he really has to think maybe even a cage to keep that Brawler on the Poison.
Well, Onion is getting damage on both sides. 1-2-4-2, 1-3-1-3.
They had to put the Musketeer there, or else the Firecracker would have done some damage to the tower.
Firecracker does so much work for Onion. Is the Goblin Cage going to come down? He doesn't get the pull! That might just be it. The Heal Spirit comes in and heals it up as well. 22 damage remain. All it took was one misplacement of that Goblin Cage there. This Graveyard has to do it for Wonga, because once that Earthquake gets back in cycle, Onion takes the W.
Defensive delivery and one tick from the Earthquake. Game 1 and 2. check mark for Onion and Kicks. Will be leading the match with 2-1 set score.
What can you say?
Such an important matchup now. Whoever's, it's got to be either Solomon or higher, and from WEDGM with a whole lot more pressure.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's sacrifice there. This is where it started to look as though, you know, maybe a couple of bolts on the roller coaster are starting to fall off for Onion. But he does manage to successfully defend. He does manage to pull this one back in, defending on two fronts.
Yeah, sometimes you do want to get aggressive because if you just place it towards the center, after the knockback, it walks towards the other side. So I think that's what Onion was thinking.
Graveyard came down, so did the poison. The defense was there, it was strong. Once you get two firecrackers on the field, it's always rough, and then here.
Yeah, Wanga
Bam.
certainly had enough elixir.
But you weren't expecting to have your Goblin Cage not pull the Royal Giant.
Yeah, all the way.
It was one square too far, I think.
Yeah, just one more towards the left could have just pulled it, even though the RG was getting close to the tower.
So why would you put it there, and why would you not just put it on top of the RG? You want the brawlers to go to the opposite side so that it
Yeah,
goes to the tower?
I think he wanted the graveyard on the right to use that brawler along with some more unit. I think the top right was much more damage compared to the left, and Wanga needed a situation because his own tower was close to being brought down, about 700, 800 left only. That's a solid place from Onion. Again, the RG Firecracker. Yeah, just working really well for playoffs.
Yeah.
I think 3 wins today.
It's such a good deck. It's really hard. Like, I am not a Psycho player. I play beatdown.
I'm not a Royal
religiously.
Giant player.
RG's hard. It's skillless, but it's hard. If that makes sense. Like, it's just a completely different
RG or
playstyle.
Golem? Let's see.
Golem, obviously. 100%. Golem's the best card in the game. Okay. Set 4. We expect Solomon or higher. We don't expect Peace to come out because I think that would have been a very risky choice for WEDGM to go Wanga then Peace.
Yeah, especially since Wanga already played in set 3. Yeah, I don't think Peace is playing today.
It'd be a very interesting choice if you put Peace in.
I think higher
after
set
Wanga.
4, Solomon set 5. I think that's the... unless coach is thinking about something else.
What, like going into the losers bracket and having a warm-up match next week in the finals?
No, you do want to go straight to the finals. You want the least number of matches to reveal less and more practice time too.
They get the same practice time because they're all playing today.
Oh, but if you have to prepare for another match, then you
True.
get less practice
True.
time
Okay.
by far.
What does Kicks have left? We have Ice Law, Legend,
Benzer.
Benzer,
Mm-hmm.
JTV, but JTV doesn't really come out all too much. He is very much a 2v2 player. Oh,
So
I don't-
Benzer Islaw or Islaw Benzer.
Or Legend. You could even throw Legend in there because he did play pretty well last week.
Yeah,
Besides that
against the
disconnect.
UK. Yeah, against the UK.
Yeah, but AUK is incredible.
So it is higher
All right.
from WEDGM. Can he bring back the win streak for his team? He needs to win to go into set 5. But, uh-oh.
It's going to be the French wall. The French... I can't even think of anything else. Ice Law coming in for Kicks. The guy has been pretty much unstoppable this season. 68.4% overall win rate. That's including triple draft where he lost. He went down 1-2. So don't put that against him. The guy has an incredible win rate this season. Was higher too.
Yeah, 2 best players from the team, I would say.
In 1v1 sets, higher it has 86% win rate. 86, G-Clef. Do you know how high that is?
That's very high. That's higher than 4 out of 5. So,
Well, 6 out of 1, that's why. All right, we're getting into this. Kicks his Ice Lord in red at the top, higher for WEDGM in blue at the bottom. G-Clef, what are we seeing here
Flying
with the Flying
Machine.
Machine?
all of a sudden. And with the Spear Goblin?
Hogs.
Fireball Blade.
We have not seen this for
some
very
time.
long time. Hogs have been kind of dead in this meta.
Yeah, delivery.
Look at that flying machine. It was pretty much dead. The Heal Spirit comes in and resurrects it. It's not Easter now, man. All right, well, okay, opening exchanges. Probably looking at Hog Rider for Ice Law and, well, obviously Royal Hogs here for hire. What are the last couple of cards? There's the Hog Rider for Ice Law.
Yeah, waiting for EQ.
Choosing not to play it this time round. Bank a couple of Elixir. Here's the Hogs.
The Flying Machine can be rough.
Did heal up that Brawler, but this Hog doesn't get to the tower. The Inferno Tower is doing a really good job of just shutting out these Royal Hogs push after push, with the Royal Delivery obviously on top. So Hire has to find a way to kind of eke out that Royal Delivery before the Inferno Tower, but I don't know if Ice Law is the type of player to let that happen.
So how many Spear Goblins or Bats can you connect before those Royal Logs onto the Inferno Tower? And also, how can you bait out that delivery with the Flying Machine so that it cannot be used against the Royal Hogs?
Just like this. In it comes.
Heals?
This time, there is one very, very healthy Piggy. Does get quite a bit of damage, 1689 on the tower, but the Royal Recruit and the Knight do cross the bridge, and there is the Hog Rider. Not really getting the push across, which I think maybe he was hoping for, but still, one good hit. 1563.
Yeah, good EQ. You want to pair it up so that the Knight actually gets a speed boost with the Hog Rider like that, so it does more damage over time.
Different positioning here on the Royal Delivery. Doesn't make a difference. It's still cleaned up nigh effortlessly. Earthquake coming in. Chooses to go for the log instead, so he's going to let that Hog Rider just go there.
Yeah, no EQ this time. So Ice Law wanted to get ready, so sometimes the Inferno Higher, changing the cycle up just a little bit more, wants to load up that Flying Machine and the Royal Hog together.
Well, now that the Inferno is out of cycle, we should be seeing the Hogs come down anytime soon, and they're going to go right for that tower.
Delivery and log.
Delivery doesn't catch any of the pigs, but it does catch the aggro of that Flying Machine, and this is a lot coming in. The Earthquake comes in and Royal Delivery cleans everything up, but one hit still connects.
Yeah, from the Hog, along with that EQ damage, so Higher needs to connect a few more from the Royal Hogs. That's not really happening because Delivery usually catches at least 2 or more, and the Log's still pushing it back.
There are the Hogs. The Inferno Tower should be coming down. The Royal Delivery should be coming down. Chooses to go for the log this time round. That's perfectly acceptable. Does use the Royal Delivery to just push back that Flying Machine. Is a Hog Rider going to come down this time? There it is. Earthquake surely, and it doesn't catch the Goblin Cage. Doesn't catch the Goblin Cage this time, and that might prove to be a little bit of a hiccup here in Ice Law's plans. 1 minute remain. We're in triple Elixir time. EQ from Higher. Royal Delivery played at the back, and those are 3 very healthy pigs. 2 on the tower now. 2, 5, 6. It's got to be done in this push for Ice Law. He cannot afford to miss this time with the Earthquake. He doesn't. Gets one hit with the Flying Machine. Shuts it down.
There's still too much damage onto those Hog Riders. Now the small piggies on the run, along with that Earthquake, to try to finish this game. Only 52 remaining. Ice Law loads up an early Hog.
But he has to. It's all down to this desperation plays, but it doesn't matter. Higher takes game 1. That 86% win rate just got a little bit higher. 7-1 right now. Jeez. Is Higher beatable? That's the
Flying
question.
Machine made it very tough for Ice Law to defend. Log was one good spell, but Delivery... So, Ice Law, really hard. Okay, if I'm choosing to go against the Flying Machine, which he basically has to from lacking too many anti-air. So Delivery has to catch the Flying Machine. which means that it cannot pair up against the Royal Hogs too well. So Icelow had to take some scratches every single time, where Higher actually found himself a nice groove with the Flying Machine cage to not take any damage from the Hog Riders.
Yeah, and one of the big, I don't want to say it was a mistake, but one of the big things in this was where that Earthquake came down for Icelow and didn't catch the Goblin Cage. If it did, probably one more hit and that would have been it would have been a much closer finish.
Yeah, I think we're looking at like maybe less than 20 HP difference at the end. We're one tick away from the Earthquake.
Well,
love these type of racing games with the Royal Hog and the Hog. Royal Hogs started. We've seen one Royal Hog from AUK that happened to be against the one Graveyard Tornado deck that never really comes out anymore. But the one game with the Tornado that happened yesterday was against the Royal Hog. A bad matchup there. AUK did lose that game.
Well,
but without the Tornado, I think Royal Hogs are still in pretty good conditions. And also, you can put in Magic Archer if you feel comfortable.
Yeah, it is really weird that we haven't seen more Royal Hogs now that Tornado is gone. I guess it's because Bomb Tower is still everywhere. Delivery ruins everything. Do you think Icelow should have used the delivery on the Royal Hogs regardless and just let everything else clean
up? The Flying Machine was the right choice. He had to do the damage because the damage is massive. And if you do the massive, even if the Flying Machine's sort of away from the Princess Tower damage, you do have the Bats and the Spear Goblins to sort of do just remaining damage and to take care of it. But without the damage from the delivery, it can turn into some crazy bad situations where the Flying Machine we can have two Flying Machines in the air at the same time, and yeah, you're not gonna be liking that moment.
Yeah, true, true. Well, we're going to get into Game 2 here very, very soon. Can Higher close it off and take us to that Game 5, Set 5? Or will Icelow bring it back and bring Kicks to match point? Remember, this is the winner's side final. The team that wins today is guaranteed a spot in the grand final. The loser today goes to the loser's bracket final, which will be next Saturday before the grand final.
Lumberjack. So Balloon with the Heal Spirit. Oh, the Snowball
Misses.
One.
Yeah, missed one of those wall breakers. So damage got done. But looks like Lumberloon for Icelow. Okay.
Lumberloon with the heal.
Comes down, but that Knight isn't going to get on the tower. What does Higher have in terms of dealing with the balloon?
Usually with the Knight does have the Bomb Tower or the Cage.
Cage doesn't do a good job against the balloon because it is just one drop and it's done.
Usually it's the Bomb Tower, so Higher just keeping that in his hand.
Lumberjack doesn't catch the Miner this time round. Higher seems to have Icelow's number right now, and there is the balloon. Snowball comes down to get rid of the Bats. Hunter! So this all changed. He's going to get one hit. No.
Just to death damage. No pulling with the Hunter this time. So goes in straight with the Hunter instead. Still a very good... We've seen this matchup even against the Mega Knight. The Knight Hunter combo works against a lot of big bodies.
So how is Icelow going to get around the Hunter here? Because the Hunter is going to make the balloon life difficult every time.
Yeah, whenever Higher places Hunter along with the Bats, then that's the best time for the Snowball to push it away from the balloon. But Higher is not going to make that mistake.
Or you would hope he wouldn't make
So
that mistake.
spending the Ice Golem to delete the Bats with the death damage and then using the Snowball to push the Hunter would be the best.
Miner gets in on the tower. Nothing to catch him this time round. Musketeer cleans him up though. 1385 and does go with the Lumberjack and the balloon. And there's the Snowball. There's the push. Is it gonna get a hit? No, it does not. But the bomb is gonna clean everything up there.
And just the death damage, and then Lumberjack was drawn away, but a good time. Higher just stacking up the damage with the miner every single time. Ice-Law finally under 4 digits.
It's not looking good for Ice-Law in this one. If he's going to come back, he's got to make some big brain plays. But the miner, again, uncontested on that tower. The Barbarian from the bar barrel there, used to try and block any potential Hunter, even though the Hunter's
Great
gone.
snowball.
It's going to get 1. Is it going to get 2? The Hunter's underneath. So still only the 1 hit. But that is the kind of play he needs to make. Predict where that Hunter's going to be. But he misses the miner again. And Lumberjack has to come in and try to clean that up. 4-3-3. Here is the Balloon and the Barbarian. That's what you like to see. The Barbarian takes the first hit. Snowball to
Even
push
the
it out of the
delivery.
way, but the delivery is enough.
And 4-3-3. The bat getting a damage onto the tower. Ice-Law going lower and lower. The miner still on the tower with the poison. Hire's gonna take the second game, and we are tied 2-2. The winner's bracket. Woo! Certainly putting out some fire between the two teams.
Yeah. Hire's win rate just keeps climbing and climbing and climbing. 8-1 now. Over 90%. The guy just does not lose in 1v1. Ice-Law gave it his all, but each time just couldn't find a way past just Hire's expert play. He started to do what you would expect. There was the snowball to try and buy a bit of time, but wasn't enough.
Yeah, love that defense with the skeleton, making sure the rage doesn't drop before.
And those miners just got so much work done
Yeah.
for Hire.
No tornado, and it's hard to predict, and you have limited amount of swords. And Lumberjack is the best tool to go against the miner. Then you can't really time your own attack. It has to be. It's gonna be well read by Hire all the time. So Ice-Law had to make a choice to go on the left instead.
Yep, and I mean, Ice-Law just was not catching miners today. It wasn't his day.
It's hard with the ice balloon or with the Lumberjack balloon.
Yeah, I mean, Hire took a very commanding win there. Made Ice-Law not look like Ice-Law. It's very rare that we see someone play Ice-Law the way that Hire did today. Hire made Ice-Law just dance for him. It was insane. But that does take us down to set 5. One more best of 3 is all it will take to send one of these teams into that winner's bracket final.
And who are we thinking for the final player?
Solomon.
Legend or Benzer?
Benzer. I would say Benzer, yeah.
Yeah, the winner goes straight to the finals. Solomon Benzer. And we actually had quite a bit of 2-0. Set 3 2-0, set 4 2-0 going in straight. I think balloon decks are...
With the amount of delivery.
Yeah, we thought it was at first few days after the patch, everyone thought, oh, balloon's OP. You
No
can't stop it.
tornado.
No tornado.
Then
Balloon.
delivery came out of nowhere and basically shut down a whole archetype or 2.
Or 3 or 4.
It's just such a good card, but we are expecting. Is there anyone from either team that you would expect? There is Solomon.
Solomon.
You would expect Benzer, but it could be Legend. Obviously, it can't be Onion or Ice-Law. They have already played. It is going to be Benzer. All right, Benzer versus Solomon. Who's going to take this? Put your money on the table.
Hard game. Hard to predict, as we have seen from King of the Hill. Wall Breaker cycle seems to be the best for both players, but with what? Is it still with the Night Hunter or with an MK? We've already seen what happened with that matchup.
Yeah, Solomon took it. If you weren't here for the King of the Hill, Solomon did take a win from Benzer.
Yeah, WDGM, including Hire, seems to be focusing on the Night Hunter combination. So what do you use to break it? Do you use your own graveyard? Or do you go back to your Goblin Sparky?
Go Mortar.
Another choice. It is best of 3, so you have few chances.
Benzer throwing out the good look.
See the final set. between Kicks and WEDGM in the winners bracket.
So it is wall breakers from Benzer. Goblin Cage out for Solomon. Okay, Magic Archer for Benzer.
Oh! And a graveyard for Solomon? Let's see.
It's too early to tell. Goblin Cage Musketeer could be about 35 different decks at this point of the season.
Only 35.
I didn't want to overstate it, you know? Okay. So the Musketeer is going to go down to the tower after getting probably just one hit. Wall breakers.
You do want to keep the pressure with the wall breaker, even if you're not getting the damage. You want to find out the cards from your opponent's side.
You got to apply some pressure early on with these wall breakers just to try and find a weakness, find a way through. And as you said, even if they don't connect, they're still useful scouting information tools. Magic Archer doesn't cross the bridge. Does now, though, and is connected to the Brawler. Roll Delivery, peeking out its ugly head. And a Mega Knight just shuts all that down. Shut down that nonsense, Solomon, and do it again and again and again. Okay, Bomb Tower in the middle. Cleans up the goblins behind. What's going to stop the Mega Knight from collapsing into a tower? It is Skeletons trying to get that King Tower activation.
Oh,
no.
almost. Usually doesn't connect after the bomb tower.
Miner at the back, uncontested. Wall breakers jump into the cage. 1638. The Miners have done business today. They usually get... They seem to be not as scary, but they still get a ton of damage in. Miner again, the bats are there, they're distracted, and Solomon decides to let those two wall breakers go in the left-hand lane, and
With
a
the
balloon.
Balloon Miner with the Mega Knight goes all of a sudden, brings out a mini P.E.K.K.A. for defense, but that balloon even pushes into the tower range. That's one.
And the Zap comes down to get rid of the
second
bats.
drop.
That tower is gone. Benzer taking
An absolute crazy deck that
taking a
we did not
slapping.
expect to come out from Solomon. And a perfect zap plus the arrows to delete all the small troops in the air. One balloon attack to secure the game.
Yeah, balloon out of nowhere, and that is it. Solomon takes game one and pretty much slaps Benzer Adel there. That was a walk.
It was a weird combination even with the graveyard, so I was thinking, is it just some type of a bait with a graveyard, or is he going to surprise us with Ramrider all of a sudden?
And then it ended up being a balloon. Okay, so letting those go, saving the elixir, you're like, okay, Benzer has an advantage. Balloon comes down and you're like, okay, what does he have? Bomb Tower not misplaced, it was placed perfectly because he wasn't expecting the balloon, but the Royal Delivery was mistimed. It needed to be back ever so slightly more to push the balloon away, and then we might have seen a defense come out, maybe not lose the tower in that push. So Royal Delivery is a very hard card to use when your adrenaline is pumping and the pressure is on.
It's hard. You have to be literally predicting what the game is going to be like in 2 seconds. But when you see a surprise balloon and you know that the balloon is coming directly to the tower instead of being dragged by the bomb tower, then you might actually be late already. So that these kind of decks, even from last year, a few of these kind of weird combination deck, that's the style of China. Even the playoff from last year, I believe Solomon also, or Higher, also tried these kind of weird, different combination, a new style against Nova, and that's actually how they won. And won during the playoff and also in the finals. So Benzer would surely be surprised by the deck.
Do you think Benzer kind of second-guessed himself with the Royal Delivery? Because it felt as though he had all the time in the world to play it correctly, to drop it in a way where it would push the balloon back. I feel like he might have second-guessed it.
And sometimes when you're playing wall breaker decks, you are thinking about your own attack, how to just go to the other side, and when should I place the wall breakers to rake in and maybe connect even one. And if you're thinking about your own attack when you see that balloon, you might have a brain fart for even for like 0.2 seconds. And that 0.2 seconds, when you're using a delivery, you might be missing the best timing. Yeah, one of those harder spell cards to actually use it perfectly.
Yeah. I don't know what to say.
That's one for Solomon now.
Solomon has match point in his sights. He could take WEDGM to a minimum of second place if he wins game 2. But you know what? Benzer does not usually go down lightly, and he is looking to take us to a game 3 in the set 5 1v1. We'll find out what happens in the next 5 minutes.
Straight up Hog from Benzer. And a ram this time from Solomon. And who's in trouble? Oh, Inferno though. Paired up with the Inferno Knight combination, the 3.0 that we have seen.
Yeah, and this is looking pretty good now for Benzer with the Inferno. It's the issue is, how is he going to get those Hog Riders to go through and connect? With the Ram Rider, you can always save it and just use it to counter the Hog Rider, just to hold him in place, make sure that he cannot do anything. So we're going to have to see how Benzer can break through.
It's going to be about the aggression. How aggressive can you actually get with the Hog and the Ram? Yeah, with the Mega Knight. And Solomon very likely also has the cage.
Snowball there used to make sure there was 0 hits done.
Yeah, so usually paired up with Snowball Poison.
Well, we'll see what happens now. Both players just waiting, stacking up that elixir, getting back up to 10 before they start making their move. That's a very patient game. EQ comes in for Benzer, cycled away. Up to 10. Throws down the Knight in the back.
And then a surprise Hog on the right. I think both players always have to think about the other side.
Is Ram going to be able to break through and get a hit? No. Those bowlers seem to be able to travel like way further than they should.
Still the baby dragon. Oh, even the slow from that Snowball helping out just a little bit. So Solomon
taking a little bit of an advantage here. Hog Rider again on the right. Mega Knight coming down. This time misses
not getting
the
the spawn damage.
Misses the drop damage.
That's big.
But still only 1 hit. It's not the end of the world for Solomon. It was pretty interesting bandit charge coming through as well. Benzer's defense slowly but surely bending at the bow. There is the EQ again from Benzer, cycling it through. Poison from Solomon. There is a Hog Rider and the Bats coming down. The Bats do not do well against the Snowball. The Snowball kind of pushed the Hog Rider in a little bit. Doesn't matter. Bandit will clean that up.
The snare is actually pretty long onto a target. And Solomon was ready with that Bandit. So Earthquake chip damage will be sort of in working against that Earthquake chip damage too. Benzer trying the right this time.
Found a good timing. The poison comes down. There was no real elixir there. So Benzer manages to get that Hog Rider through, but has to let that Ram get through too. So 1742 remains here. Hog Rider going down on the left-hand side. Uncontested 1 hit.
Yeah, no Mega Knight, not enough elixir because of that Musketeer placement on the right. So Benzer slowly, crumping up the cycle for Solomon to go perfectly against the Hog Rider.
Both players just trying to find any sign of weakness, any way that they can possibly break through. Expect to see the Ram Rider come out against this Hog Rider on the right-hand side. Baby Dragon is going to get Inferno Tower down. Is it still going to get a hit? No.
Final minute. Early Snowball once. Oh, Solomon going super aggressive, chipping in any type of spell damage. Blocks it with the Hog Rider and the delivery there.
EQ, it's looking like Solomon knows that he can spell cycle to win this. placing goblins inside the poison. Benzer with a very rare
knight.
mistake there.
Yeah, good cycle for Solomon to get this defense going near perfectly, except for the spell damage. That's why he's just throwing down the snowball in an offensive way.
Gold delivery comes through to try and just clog up this lane here. Try to stop any extra damage coming through. 492. There's a snowball from Solomon too. It is neck and
The
neck,
tick!
but time over. Solomon takes game 2 and sends WEDGM to the winners bracket, just to the grand final. Kicks get knocked down into the losers bracket final. What a day for WEDGM.
We do have one Chinese team in the finals. We'll be facing against the winner. Kicks versus whoever the winner is from the second match tonight. What a close game for a lot. Yeah,
Wait.
especially close games for King of the Hill and also the triple draft. Yeah, lots of 2-0s actually happening in 1v1 set.
Yeah, we have another game after this. It will be Fab versus Panos. Don't go anywhere. Stay tuned because that should be an absolute banger of a game.
Let's
Kicks
see.
not gone. They will be back next week, but it's gotta hurt.
Yeah, it's gotta hurt. And from the losers bracket, even if you win, you have to play back-to-back match in the finals. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, Bob Gaming versus Ponos.
And we are back. Clash Royale League East special season. We already had the winner side today. WEDGM are in the final. Kicks await the winner of the next game, which is the Japanese Brawl. Ponos versus Fav Gaming. G-Clef, this is going to be explosive.
One of the best matches that we had in history. Usually when we go to Japan in the playoff, it was actually the grand finals.
Yeah.
Back last year and also the year before in spring, Gameit versus Ponos. Now that Gameit Ponos combining together against Fav. So, and this might be the duel and Kicks waiting. We might have a Japanese team. You might not have a Japanese team in the finals. So let's see. One of the best matches we always have in the playoff happens to be Japan versus Japan, because when they face each other, they bring out some weird combination.
Yeah, they definitely do. Now, history is kind of on Ponos' side. I keep talking about it. They are the Spring Kings. They won in 2018. Season 1. They won in 2019. Season 1. Are they going to be able to do it in 2020?
If you're talking about the old Ponos, then who are they actually... who are the players actually winning from Ponos' side other than who was not from Ponos? KK.
Yakitori?
Not many, so I am actually leaning towards Fav. Jack, Expo Master, Kita-shan, Kensu Meshi, or Triple Draft. I think they're really solid team to go through with the roster, and from the decks they have been choosing yesterday, even going way back using the P.E.K.K.A.s, I think they've got it.
Is this how we end our friendship, G-Clef? You're going to put...
We had friendship?
Wow! All right, Fav Gaming versus Ponos. Both teams 5 and 4. King of the Hill win rate does favor Fav, but then Triple Draft and 1v1 win rates favor Ponos. So this is gonna be a long set. Hopefully we get down to that set 5 if we have a chance.
Yes.
Because I want to see as much Clash Royale from these two teams as possible.
Exactly. And the key players, no one will argue either side. Oh, I think Expo Master also had a great day yesterday from Fav. So certainly having that 1-2 punch for Fav Gaming. Ponos, KK, KK, KK. Bringing down the results. One of the highest win rates so far. And playing so many games. 26.
Yeah, that's a very good sample size for KK. I mean, King of the Hill.
Too many.
King of the Hill, it's just practically all W's. In the 1v1, though, KK is just all W's anyway. You can see here, Expo Master number 2 on the King of the Hill player standings at 72.7. KK, 3rd place, 12 and 5. More games played, in my opinion, should put him above Expo Master, but we do go by numbers and just percentages. Looking at the rest of the team, though, Ponos were kind of a one-trick team. It was KK coming to the rescue every time. But other players have started to step up. Reiki Jones early on. Yakitori is on a 4-game win streak right now.
For a 1v1 set, though.
For 1v1.
Not in King of the Hill.
But maybe this is the time to try him out. He is clearly playing the best Clash Royale of his life right now.
Yeah, it seems like right next to KK, there has to be Yakitori from the result that we have.
Are we starting Jack and KK? All right. Well,
that's what we have on screen.
No punches pulled between these two teams. Starting off with a match you would expect to see at the end of a King of the Hill, not at the beginning. Start strong, finish stronger.
Yes.
Clearly is the mentality of both these teams right now.
Yeah, both of the teams. Yeah, you can't take any more backsteps. You will fall through the cliff. Jack, KK, they want to have 3-0. They want to get through the King of the Hill.
Okay, Royal Giant, so bridge spam, yeah, most likely. KK could be bringing a probably Goblin Barrel deck, like Logbait.
Or even a Graveyard.
Goblin Cage 2. pretty much anything is possible with the two cards we see so far.
Yeah, Bandit. Zap. Seen this yesterday from Jack. Let's wait. Oh, Magic Archer.
Yeah, yesterday, Jack made that Magic Archer work absolutely. He worked for his money, and KK respects that by just throwing that poison immediately on top.
Yeah, the Brawler.
Still connects. Oh my.
Brawler, yeah, goes around the earth for the battle ram there.
How did that battle ram still get the connection? All right, well, clogging up the lane ever so slightly with the Bandit. Baby Dragon is there. It is tanking, so why not chuck out the Graveyard?
Yeah, still the Magic Archer. Not the greatest, but still not too bad against the Skeletons. Actually, for the early Graveyard before the double elixir time. Okay, KK is on the smiling mode right now.
Yeah, even with the Ewiz there, like getting the secondary hit onto those Skeletons, it just wasn't enough. Magic Archer is fine if they line up, but if they don't, it is very hard to defend with it. 14-31 remain on that bottom left-hand tower.
Yeah, Jack needs to pressure with the P.E.K.K.A. or else KK is going to have more time to put down those poisons and Graveyard. And now going in offensive, we'll be looking for those Magic Archer shots.
Battle Ram loaded up on the other side. Goblin Cage is there though. Bandit does charge in. Brawler is there. Delivery to push everything away and just give more bodies to take on this P.E.K.K.A. The Baby Dragon is there from above. And more bridge battles between these two.
Yeah, you can't let that go through.
Look at the respect that KK has for that Magic Archer. As soon as it touches the field, you are poisoning it out. That is just how good Jack's Magic Archers are.
And Jack also, from yesterday, had the poison, so keeping it in defensive mode against the Graveyard. So that's the reason why KK has not been using Graveyard even after the double elixir time. Without the Graveyard, I'm still winning the game and still putting out some damage with the poison.
Look at the respect on these Magic Archers.
Yeah.
It's insane.
Jack now placing it away from the tower zone with the against the poison.
Yep, P.E.K.K.A. shut down, but the Battle Ram on the other side, the Ewiz and the Bandit are going to cross the bridge here. And
double that Ice Wizard.
Still, there is a lot here. Ewiz is going to get quite a bit of damage done down that side. Tornado pulls everything in for KK. Is it time to go for the Graveyard? 5 elixir is hit. It's going to let it go. Battle Ram again comes down.
Yeah, he's okay with the Ice Wizard. Still doing a couple hundred, so Jack's eliminating some damage with the Zap.
There is the Graveyard this time.
Ooh, unexpected timing here.
Damage is getting done. Ewiz is there. Bandit's going to be there to help out. Royal Giant 2. Poison comes down from KK. On top of all of that, the Ewiz is going to die. Bandit is looking very hurt.
Still with the Knight tanking a good amount of damage against the Bandit, and also the Royal Ghost. KK's got a good body in front to deal with every single unit like this.
We're going to see a poison on that Magic Archer soon. KK does indeed poison that.
Yeah, Jack says, okay, Graveyard, it's happening in the weird timing where I can't really poison in defense mode, so I gotta be putting in some damage at least.
That Magic Archer gets the connection on that right-hand side. Knight has to come down to try and stop that. But look at the amount of bodies being thrown down on the right. But in comes the Graveyard. There is the poison, just a couple of hits. That's it. KK takes game 1 in this King of the Hill with a spectacular showing of how to take on Bridge Spam when you're the Graveyard player.
A rough match for Jack. Had to think about his own placement with the Magic Archer. When you have the Magic Archer, you're supposed to be having your opponent think about the placement oftentimes more. But because of that poison and the tornado, which could basically pull everything together, Jack was thinking 2 times, 3 times before putting down that Magic Archer. Even had to put it in a weird, awful position because that poison was hitting the tower all the time.
Yeah, and that was just the level of respect, because even when the Magic Archer wasn't in the tower range, KK still poisoned it more often than not. I mean, just the absolute play style. He only played the Tornado one time in that game, just kept it pretty much in his hand for the whole match. Magic Archer played 7 times, and I think it only got maybe 3 hits on a tower, maybe 4. It was not as effective today for Jack because KK shut it down time and time again.
Yeah, some damage from the Magic Archer, and the Battle Ram, the initial connect onto the top left, was basically the only damage, and one offensive poison from Jack was it. And Kitashan in the middle for Fob Gaming.
Yeah, Kitashan coming out here.
No.
25% win rate in King of the Hill. And that is it. He's only played 4 games this season, was 1-3.
So you've got to use Expo Master in King of the Hill. So no Donnie in this case?
Most likely. I mean, Donnie's win rate is only 38% too. Whereas Expo Master is at 73% in King of the Hill. That's insane. He
comes out clutch. He closes down lots of gates for the other teams. But we're up against KK, and the pressure is actually on Fob because KK is not the last player. He's the first player.
Yeah, that was a statement.
That's scary.
It's a statement of intent from both these teams that we're not pulling punches. Just because we're both from Japan doesn't mean we have to be friends. We're just going to slaughter each other on the battlefield and see what happens.
Yeah, there's no round. We don't go until round 10. It's round 1, and it's going to be a KO. Well, certainly a big uppercut from KK.
What do you think Kitashian's going to play? We have such little data from Kitashian this season.
Yeah, I think so far from today, just from sort of the reading the meta and what the players are thinking. Certainly, they're thinking about anti-Mega Knight, anti-Balloon to go against to melt down that big front. Not really bringing that Inferno too much, but making sure you have some kind of tool like the Hunter or even the Tornado, so you can actually buy a lot of time in defense mode. Let's see, KK's also had his chances with the Golem and some regular spell bait with the Goblin Barrel, Ice Spirit.
Golem was a very interesting situation when it was KK playing it because he did it to mock and mimic the Elixir Golem decks that we saw pretty much everywhere. I don't think he's going to be bringing that out today, but we'll find out. KK in red at the top and Kitashian in blue at the bottom. Kitashian has only beaten Greed so far this season and has lost to Seto, JTV, and Line. That makes it hard as the Hog Rider player. Not impossible, but it does make it difficult.
Snowball in because he had to think about the bats.
Not off to the greatest of starts is Kitashian.
Still not the worst, but 500 damage towards the end of the game.
I was thinking more Ram Rider against Hog Rider. That interaction is never good for the Hog Rider player.
Yeah, that too. And you're in the worst case scenario with this damage.
A log comes in, does finish up that Firecracker, and a log comes down just to get a little bit of cycle going for KK, trying to get back to probably the Ram Rider, just in case a Hog Rider does come down. Musketeer played at the back for Kitashian.
Yeah, because of the Firecracker was damaged, activating the King Tower wasn't going to be possible from Princess just taking it down with a one-shot after the Ice Golem there.
Firecracker played away from the danger just so she can rain death and destruction from those sidelines. Again, takes 1 hit from the Musketeer, which means it'll go down to a sneeze. Cycling the Snowball into the tower.
So Kitashan, how does he break through? Ram Rider.
Well, we can see KK is holding on to this Ram Rider. He doesn't want to play it.
Is it
Plays
Inferno?
it now. EQ does come down. I don't think there's a building.
He didn't have Elixir.
Look at the damage he's taken. 688 remains. There's the Hog Rider.
Oh, even the log hitting it. But good
Mini
pull
P.E.K.K.A.
away with the snowball there.
Yeah, the snowball making it so that the Mini P.E.K.K.A. got 0 hits on that Hog Rider. That's a clutch move. Ram Rider comes in, and it is going to be the bomb tower with the Valkyrie for Kitassian. Logging there to make sure that the Ram Rider sticks within the bomb range. With 400 down to 316. An Earthquake and maybe 2 Earthquakes will finish it. Tries to do that sneaky move again. Hog Rider gets 2 hits.
Still a good way of coming back at the shot, but Earthquake, one more will finish the tower for KK. 15 seconds left to go.
Or a hit from the Firecracker. No, I was going to say Firecracker Log would also do it. Here is the interaction we hate to see when you're a Hog Rider player. Ram Rider just slowing
Ram Rider
that down.
plus the Mini P.E.K.K.A. Hog's going nowhere. And with that EQ tit, KK takes the second game for Ponos. And Bob Gaming so far scrambling into pieces.
Not going to say I told you so, G-Clef. The Spring Kings.
Wait for Expo Master. There's always hope.
All right, Kitassian down, Jack down. There's only one player really you would put in this situation, but don't forget Fav do have the choice of keeping Expo Master as long as they want. They could
I don't think
sack-
today's the day.
Sack King of the
I do
Hill.
not think so.
Could be Donnie.
Could be Donnie or Kenzumeshi, but Kenzumeshi's got to go for a triple draft.
So you're going to say is not coming in for the King of the Hill. You're going to say it's 100% Expo Master.
Yes.
I'm going to say yeah, obviously.
Yes.
You wouldn't put anyone else there, surely.
Uh-huh.
But this game, like, as the Hog Rider player, you see the Ram Rider, and you see that KK isn't really trying to push his luck with that Ram Rider. He's not using it offensively. He's using it mostly on the defense. You gotta, you know, weep a little bit. There's a silent tear as the Hog Rider player when you go against that Ram Rider deck. It was designed from the ground up to beat Hog Rider.
But not all the time, because the Ram Rider, when it goes against the Hog, you can expect the timing okay. And also, depending on how you use the log and the snowball, you can get one more hit from the Hog Rider. And Kitashan actually made it work pretty well. At the end, it was about 5-10 left.
He did get that one very clutch snowball where the Mini P.E.K.K.A. was completely denied a hit on the Hog Rider. But he only got that one time.
Which is hard to pull off all the time.
Yeah. It's a very tricky move to do. So we are going to get Expo Master versus KK. This is the two basically standout players from both teams. Both with a very impressive win rate. KK adding 2 more victories to his King of the Hill. That puts him 14-5.
An Expo Master would be thinking wall breakers. That comes up to my mind, number 1. And then a few balloon, even some spell bait. And KK does sort of match in style, I would say. It's especially that both players love to play spell bait compared to a lot of other players.
Could be Expo.
And has been using a lot of Hog Riders too. Expo, I wish. I really wish that we see some Expo.
I was waiting to see how long it was before you picked up on that, because we have not seen Expo in this tournament.
Oh, very few from line only. I think twice the entire season.
So don't forget those win rates there do include triple draft. And they also include the 1v1s at the end. Just going by the King of the Hill, as I said, 14-5 for KK and 8-3 for Expo Master. But both players proving their versatility, and they play a wide range of decks. When Expo Master first came on the scene, he did play Expo, and he did show us just how good he was at it.
Yeah, for years.
But he has matured. He's learned more than one deck.
Because Expo was being banned all the time, he was sort of pushed away from Expo for such a long period of time. And Expo, so far only the Miner, did play P.E.K.K.A. Miner yesterday. Nice golem. Is it the KK version Graveyard, or the Skeleton just going for that quicker side of Balloon? Or Firecracker with RG?
With RG would be an interesting choice. There is the Mini P.E.K.K.A. So most likely not RG, I would say. Well, we'll find out. Ice Golem and Mini P.E.K.K.A.
Oh.
Delivery cleans 99% of that. Just like hand sanitizer cleans 99% of pushes. Dead. All right, Lug comes in, EQ there
Yeah,
as
defensive
well.
EQ to get those wall breakers.
Very quick cycle from Expo Master here. His lowest cycle, 1, 3, 2, 3. Then he gets back to it. That's just ridiculously quick.
Yeah, for both.
Yep. Well, this is what we like to see. Cycle versus cycle.
Yeah, he knew that. KK knew that the Knight was coming, so big push.
Ram Rider comes down from KK. He's going to eat a Hunter shot to the face and goes down there.
So carefully watch for those poison and the earthquake timing. Expo Master feeling that he has to change up a little bit. Going towards the left does not succeed in other than few minor shots.
We are 2 minutes into this one, G-Clef, and both towers have barely taken any damage.
So I think KK, yeah, even with the Hunter, I think if KK's managed to keep a few more firecrackers alive, and I see some chances when the delivery is out already against the Ram Rider and the Mini P.E.K.K.A, then it can reach some damage. I think that's going to be the initial crack.
Lug has to come down there. Bats as well. Ooh, the wall breaker almost got a connection.
Yeah, these kind of connections against a firecracker landing on the Hunter. KK was having a good read.
Yep, but the Hunter is just gonna make short work of the Ram Rider again, and this is a game of inches. Good poison there. Cleans all of that up in the firecracker and the skeletons that were played from KK. And the damage?
Yeah,
Is this the only way Expo Master is going to get damage?
It's mostly going to be earthquake poison from both sides.
Well, we all know that Earthquake is a very powerful tool in terms of tower damage.
Early
Miner
slow.
comes in. Delivery there as well. And that's a lot of body at the bridge here. Is he going to get the hit? Doesn't quite, but this Hunter, very healthy.
And on the left, waiting for that delivery timing, but it's a little...
The Mini
Okay,
P.E.K.K.A
just in
ate
time.
a hit, but still only a tiny, tiny hit from that Ram Rider. Good use of the Mini P.E.K.K.A to block the Hunter shot to get that damage in, but how many times can KK do that? Not many is the answer. Oh, the wall breaker almost getting the hit there too. It's a shot, delivery comes in.
Yeah, still blocks it in the way, so it gets slightly delayed too against the Hunter.
Wall breakers connect two onto that right-hand side. Expo Master takes a big lead as we get down to the last minute. KK has just struggled to get things through onto the towers. Time and time again, his pushes are getting shut down prematurely. Expo Master finding ways through the defenses of KK, and it does look as though Expo Master is going to take this unless there is some very big hits. No connection there. 35 seconds remain.
Needs a charge from the Ram Rider or even the Mini P.E.K.K.A for KK. As time, final 30 seconds before the time runs out. Even spending an EQ on an offensive end for the Ram Rider to connect does not succeed again.
Yep, here we go. Everything thrown down. Does KK have the kitchen sink to throw? Is he going to get a connection? He does! And that is a huge change!
It's all the way at the end, waited for that delivery to come back into his hand along with the Hunter. And KK sweeps Bob Gaming in King of the Hill.
Are you kidding me, G-Clef?
Final 10 seconds.
Are you kidding? How?
Yeah, Ram Rider from all the way, not from all the way back, but to cycle through back-to-back Ram Rider, and in comparison, Expo Master needed to throw down one more card before that delivery, and the Hunter, which you do need to wait a couple of seconds.
How, G-Clef? it was looking like Expo Master's defense was flawless. He took a little bit of damage there, but nothing major. No hits. Like, just look at the defense from Expo Master. Look at the defense from KK too. It does slowly start to slip. Right here, 1, 2.
Yeah, the Ice Golem does not break to do death damage and the slow into the wall breakers, so those do connect. Yeah, so he had to throw down the miner because the delivery was not back in his hand, and the hunter right after that too.
All it took was one basic mistiming from Expo Master.
And those last wall breakers, they could have also connected. Throwing down everything, even the poison at the end, just not enough, just shy away from the tower from connecting only a minor damage. Well,
I'm speechless.
Ponos, KK up first, King of the Hill. Less pressure, less stress, better play.
15-5. That is KK's record
75%.
after that. 75% in King of the Hill. KK is an absolute beast. And the thing is, right, before this, Expo Master was 8-3, 73%. That's 11 games. KK has played 20
29
games.
now. No, that
20, it's
only,
20.
Yeah, for King of the Hill.
In King of the Hill only, KK has played 20 games, whereas Expo Master has played 12. So maintaining a 75% win rate after 20 games in this competition is insane.
Is anyone going to bring KK down? Oh.
It looked as though he was out of that one, and then just made a miracle happen.
Yeah, last 10-second desperate.
He
Ram Rider
raised his
push.
staff, he parted the seas, the Ram Rider just goes straight down them. And I mean,
he just pressed on that turbo button and then just say, go! Final 10 seconds.
We need the doping agency in here. I think KK's on something, because there is no way a human being should be that good.
No, the final few seconds. I'm pretty sure Expo Master also have thought, okay, I got this game actually. But that Ram Rider timing just like 0.5 seconds faster than the other cycle.
Yep, just couldn't get everything down in time. If the Royal delivery pushed back instead of pushing towards the tower, we would have been looking at a completely different story. But it doesn't matter. Expo Master goes down. KK completes a probably shocking sweep here. I was expecting KK to win 1, maybe 2. I was not expecting him to sweep FAV Gaming.
Maybe a shocking result even for Ponos. Who knows? Well,
They're the Kings of Spring, man.
Yeah.
How many times have I got to tell you? Ponos are going to win this. They're the Kings of Spring. They do not lose.
You mean KK? I think that's better.
The disrespect on the rest of the team.
I am reading from the result where now of course Yakitori has been stepping up.
Yakitori has a 100% win rate in 1v1.
And
What are you going to do?
Tengad having some clutch moments and also being really good in the triple draft. I think it relies on a lot of the triple draft play between the two players, and also how the matchups are going to go for that 1v1. That's going to be the key for both teams.
Yeah, and look at that. Tengad in triple draft. 10-3. 77% win rate after 13 triple draft games. Some say that triple draft relies heavily on luck, but you don't go 10-3 purely based on luck. There is a lot of skill in the drafting phase, then the play phase, because you could draft like a god, but if you play like a scrub, you're never going to win.
That's why he's 10 out of 10 all the time. And Kenzumeshi also, he got his Golem deck from the triple draft yesterday.
He did.
Seemed pretty nice.
It definitely was.
And one Golem looking like deck with a Goblin Barrel. Did not turn out to be so great. Let's see this matchup, Kenzumeshi from FAV Gaming versus Tengad from Ponos. It is triple draft.
Yep. Kenzumeshi drafting ridiculously quickly there. It's probably Night Witch, Golem, Lightning, Tornado, Baby Dragon. Everything in the kitchen sink that he needs to win this one. But Tengad, it's no slouch in triple draft. He is incredibly good at this mode.
Let's see. The card choices. I mean, we've seen Giant today already. Is it the Hog again? Oh, Battle Ram win condition. Did he really have nothing else to block that Dark Goblin?
Battle Ram as a win condition is interesting. You gotta wonder what the other choices were to even think about going Battle Ram. Zap to get rid of the skeletons from that barrel.
Oh, Kenzameshi, spell bait. Big time.
Yeah, probably spellbait, but then watch his win condition be something like a golem. Royal Giant, alright.
Close enough.
Close
Yeah.
enough.
Close enough. Oh, Royal Delivery.
Royal Recruits.
Royal Recruit. So many delivery. But not a bad option. Still takes a few shots. And especially if you don't have the building. And the fireball.
So the Royal Recruits come in. Mini P.E.K.K.A is there. Battle Ram to distract, but the Dark Goblin connects anyway. And look at the damage. That little green guy gets done.
Nasty.
Absolute disaster there for Tengod. Not shutting down that Dark Goblin as quick as he should have. The Battle Ram tried to do that, but unfortunately, no dice. The Dark Goblin decided that the tower was a much juicier target.
Yeah, hard decisions from Tengod. That's why he's spending his win condition, the Battle Ram, basically in a defensive mode. Lacking the spell to bring down those Rascal Girls or the Dark Goblin, even the Skeleton Barrel.
Well, you don't want to use your Zap on them because it doesn't kill them. And you don't want to use your Fireball too much because you want that for everything else. But this is a lot of bodies with the Hill Spirit too. With the Skeleton Barrel going down.
Left side at least connecting lots of damage, so good news for Tengod.
Will the Prince be able to get a connection? No, not with the other Rascal Girl turning around. Doesn't even finish that last Rascal Girl, but look at this.
Here comes the real push.
Turbo Battle Ram coming in.
Still the Prince.
Mini P.E.K.K.A was there to save the day, but the Prince connects. Does get one hit, 1489. But how is Tengod going to stop this? The Royal Recruits are down.
They take a long time, and with the coming heal.
Zap. There you go.
But even the still the death damage goes in, and the final big spell from Kenzameshi was Poison. Last tick before that Dark Goblin finishes the game.
Kenzameshi basically had that tied up in a nice little ribbon for him. Barely challenged, I would say, with the choices there.
I do love the spell bait, his choice, because triple draft, the best you can have is 2 spell. And maybe the best you can have is Poison Arrows or Poison Log, or Earthquake Log is also great, but you can't have 3.
You cannot. And look at this. Look at the damage that Dark Goblin did.
Oh, it's slightly off in timing.
Yep, and it was looking pretty good here, but the Ewiz did stop quite a bit of damage coming through. The Fireball was a little bit on the late side. And just a couple of hits, 1489. But the Royal Giant, in retaliation, was enough to seal the deal.
Yeah, recruits, okay, but no building. Really hurt Tengod. Had to take at least 2 or more damage from the RG all the time. Zap had to be saved against the Skeleton Barrel, 100%.
And keeping those Dark Goblins alive for absolutely forever for Kenzameshi. Dark Goblin is one of those cards that is just ridiculous if you leave it out on the field.
Yeah, there are some amazing Dark Goblin moments. Those clips that you see, especially in 1v1 or even in 2v2, where Dark Goblin survives for like 40 seconds. It keeps on doing damage. Sometimes you can get that value, and if you go straight in tower, at least 4 shots.
Yeah, it's an insane card. It does just too much damage, and when you don't have something like a log or a barb barrel or something that can deal with it, that you're not trying to use to stop killer damage coming from the skeleton barrel, what do you do?
Yeah, that looks rough, and good set of choices from Kenzameshi.
Yeah, very good choices from Kenzameshi. Even Tengod's choices weren't bad. The Battle Ram surprises me. I do wonder what the other options were.
Yeah, I think Battle Ram, this is the second Battle Ram that we have from the triple draft, and both losses.
Yeah, it's not the greatest of cards when you can't build a deck around it. And even when you build a deck around it, it's still somewhat suspect. It has to be executed flawlessly.
Yeah, I think Egolem is still okay in triple draft only. It's basically out of the meta right now, but in triple draft you can make it work if you have a big push. And with Prince, I think it's actually not bad.
But you're not going to have the battle healer behind it.
Yeah, so
if you choose the Prince, you're not choosing the battle healer, if that is the option.
Yeah, I think the few other choices could have been just maybe another Expo or Giant. Had to be one of those.
But you would go for Giant. If you have Prince, you would go for Giant because Giant Prince is still pretty good.
Maybe Graveyard. Who knows what the win conditions were. The spell choices were also really rough. Having a Zap, it saves against the skeletons, but not to take care of everything. If it was a log, when you get that good timing, you can get those skeletons plus the Dark Goblin sometimes.
Arrows too would
yeah,
have been
arrows.
able to do it. But unfortunately, didn't go his way this time. Will the second draft go Tengod's favor, or will Kensumeshi be able to take it to set 3?
I think also one of the key card is building. I do like to have at least a building if there's a choice, just to not take the damage from the death damage from Skeleton Barrel and
the most likely
lots of charges.
Not a building. The only building probably we would have seen last game would have been Mortar Expo.
Yeah, Motor Expo, and maybe
there were no anti-tanks.
Straight up hog heal. This time ready with the cage.
The Royal Ghost because of the heal spirit. Nope, nothing. I thought it might have got one hit. It might have just snuck through, but did not.
Yep. Prince still a very good card against the Royal Ghost, and also the Brawler.
Yep, cleans all that up very nicely. What distraction does Tengod have to stop this? Just choose the Barbarian, the sacrificial Barbarian from that barrel.
It barely comes off the barrel. It melts immediately. Magic Archer choice from Kensumeshi.
Well, you can say this is now going in Kensumeshi's favor again. He's got that Magic Archer, which we all know is basically a win condition on its own at times. And even with
Hog Rider. I still think, yeah, even with Hog Rider, I think we have to wait for the big spell. If it's a good pair up with the Hog Rider, then Kensumeshi's got it, but if it doesn't, really against the cage. Like if it's like an EQ, even the poison seems okay. But any of those other choices can be rough for Kensumeshi to connect with the Hog Rider.
That poor Royal Ghost got deleted as the Magic Archer was focused on Ice was behind.
Yeah, but still got some good damage with the Hog Rider on the left.
Magic Archer unanswered does about 500 damage. So takes the advantage. Prince here. Nicely done. Is it going to get charge damage into the tower? You would assume with that much elixir left floating around, Tengod would have something and decides to put down cage. So, going into double elixir, who do you think has the advantage in terms of deck decisions right now?
Oh, you're yet to see the win condition from Tengod. So I think we have to wait just a little more. Pekka.
Archer coming in. Heal Spirit is going to get the
Is it a graveyard from Tengod?
No. I mean, that would explain why he's waiting so long to drop it, I guess. Fireball.
Good. Great fireball along with the log push.
This is difficult to defend for Tengod here. There's just so much potential damage with both Prince and Pekka coming down.
Ooh, that Magic Archer surviving such a long time, and the Barbarian does not get to toss. Still the Mega Minion was going to protect it. Anyhow, the Hog Rider getting a second hit.
Yep, with the Royal Ghost. Oh, that was so close to getting damage through. Could it be Balloon for Tengod?
Yeah, that's also possible.
looking at it, I don't know why you would hold on this long. There's the fireball coming down, and that's just going to get a ton of damage. Luck comes in. What is Tengot gonna do? How is he gonna be able to get damage in? There is the Hog Rider. Ice Wizard to slow it down, but the Heal Spirit from behind heals it back up. Goblin Cage isn't gonna be enough to stop this. There's the hit. 101 remain.
Fireball comes back into his hand. Kenzumeshi takes back-to-back triple draft game. And just like that, Fob Gaming is back into the match.
What was Tengot holding on to?
I think Graveyard. Or...
We'll find out at the end.
we'll find out. Graveyard points because he's also had Big Spell.
Yeah, it's probably maybe a rocket at the end, but he just could not get through.
Or anything heavier like Golem Lightning.
You just had to defend this whole time. He never had chance to build a push.
Yeah, and also, yeah, the Skeleton Barrel went all the way, so the Prince was set free to do single target damage against the Ice Wizard of the Brawler cage, which was good for Hog Rider to push through when the cage is out, and also the Musketeer. So Kensumeshi had the upper hand like that.
Golem it was.
Golem EQ.
Golem.
Yeah, the moment he saw, the moment he saw P.E.K.K.A. from the set of choices, he was doubting himself. And when that P.E.K.K.A. was put down, I think it was done deal at that moment.
I mean, you could always pull with the Golem. I know it's an expensive
or
trait to make, but
or also to just give up on one side because you already took too much damage. But the time was ticking.
Well, triple draft is done. That's it.
Interesting triple draft there.
Doesn't matter.
And
we're all done. No more triple draft.
Let's go back to 1v1 now, set 3. Then, do you put out Jack and KK just straight up again like the King of the Hill? Or what do we actually... Who do we go for? Like all of a sudden Yakitori? Or Expo Master first from Fob?
I don't know.
It's rough for both sides.
Jack and KK coming out in the third set would be basically like, all right, we decided that you would take the King of the Hill, we would take the triple draft, and now we're just going to go ham at each other and do 12 rounds of boxing in between games. Like, that's what it feels like. It's like both want their heavyweight. It basically would be a heavyweight, a middleweight, and a featherweight match, right?
Yes, but playoff, knockout stage, and...
This is the losers bracket, so don't forget the losing team will be eliminated from contention.
Yes, so if you put in somewhat less experienced player in like set 4 or set 5, where they are literally the last hope for the team, then it's going to be hard. So maybe is it worth the risk to put a less experienced player in set 3?
Knowing if you have confidence that you're going to take at least one mode, and I think Ponos actually had the confidence in triple draft and not King of the Hill. So I think they would put someone weaker first to try and take the match away from it. Like someone like Expo Master or someone like Jack. So waste a weaker choice there against that.
This is a headache already. Yeah, too many guessing and too many second thoughts, and
I just want to see it up on screen.
Yeah, the chain of thoughts just keeps on happening.
We do see KK up there in 1v1, 66.7%. Yeah, I have it as 67, but yeah. And then Expo Master is there with about 64, so rounding up 7-4, and KK is 6-3. But looking at the teams, you gotta put. Ooh, I don't know. I was gonna say you gotta put money on Ponos because they have better stats, but that's 166.7 and then 33-33.
For Fob, so maybe, yeah, in order, Donnie, Jack, Expo Master? Or Expo Master, Jack, Donnie?
What if you put Kitassian, Jack, Donnie? Kitassian, Jack, Expo Master.
What's up for King of the Hill, but after... Okay, Expo Master versus Yakitori.
Yakitori has a 100% win rate in the 1v1.
He's on a sniper mode in the playoff.
So here's the thing with old Yakitori. Yakitori did not do well in the regular season.
No, he did
lost
not.
to Expo Master in King of the Hill, and he lost to Onion. He came out in a triple draft and beat Solomon. And now, I think WEDGM versus Panos was one of the last matches in the league. And then he beat Sado 2-0, and then he beat AUK 2-0. So Yakitori is on absolute fire. Will that fire catch the Expo? Or will Expo Master be able to take this one here? We'll be finding out. Hunter is there for Yakitori.
Heal with Hunter. Okay, are we going all... A big balloon attack here?
I can see that. Balloon would be a very good choice. All right, Musketeer cleans that up. Minor wall breakers and hogs. That is something we have not seen since the advent of that Royal delivery. Very rare we get to see the hogs these days. We've seen it twice today. And we'll see how it goes.
Expo Master really quick to adapt to that Royal Hogs. The immediate response with the delivery.
One wall breaker connects.
And so far, even though that was a lost game against the KK, Expo Master certainly had the lead with the wall breakers. Leading again. So against the bomb tower, Royal Hogs are going to be having a tough time, even with the Hunter in defense mode. Yakitori was expecting some type of Mega Knight or some big body type of deck to happen from the other side. That's why he's got Hunter and the mini P.E.K.K.A together.
Yakitori choosing to eat those 4 hits from the Dark Goblin. Look at that, those hogs
Perfectly
deleted, and the bomb tower isn't even down.
Yeah, even the heal spirit was gone from the delivery. Perfect placement, perfect timing.
This is a very, very difficult matchup for Yakitori. There's just a lot of tools available for Expo Master.
Yeah, even not just the wall breakers. Oh, both of them connecting. Not just the wall breakers, even the Dark Goblin will be.
It's all collapsing for Yakitori now. How is he going to be able to win this one besides basically divine intervention?
Throwing down lots of spells that is supposed to be used along with his own attack.
Is he gonna get a hit with the P.E.K.K.A? No. And Dark Goblin's gonna be enough there to mostly take out that Musketeer.
Is it Royal Hog again on the left? Yakitori. 235. He throws down the Royal Hog again. It's giving better options to Expo Master. So splitting.
But then pulled instantly into the middle, but the delivery isn't there to finish it up. But it doesn't matter. Dark Goblin is enough there, and Wallbreaker connects and finishes it up. Expo Master takes game 1 and made that look like playtime. That was insane. What could Yakitori have done in that game? Royal Hogs against Bomb Tower and Royal Delivery.
So the reason why it looked easy was because Expo Master's reaction time, not only he was expecting it, his placement of those deliveries and his Dark Goblin use on the other side to possibly even draw another log so that his wall breakers can connect right after. Or just outstanding. It's next level mind game here.
You know it's bad for a hog like the Royal Hogs player when you throw down the Royal Hogs and they don't even finish the defensive building, and you threw in the Earthquake.
Yeah, the Earthquake, and one of the last Earthquake also missed because Expo Master placed it all the way in front.
That doesn't even matter. There was times where, like, the Earthquake hit the bomb tower. The Royal Hogs were on that bomb tower, and the bomb tower still survived.
Yeah, most of the time, Yeah, Expo Master was keeping sure of that. The heal spirit doesn't connect. So we couldn't really see heal happening to those Royal Hogs at all. That's the reason why the Hogs never really got to reach the Princess Tower. This masterclass showing of that Wallbreaker Miner deck.
It's a masterclass on how to defend against Royal Hogs with that deck. Royal Delivery has basically shut the door on Royal Hogs so far this season. And it's very evident why when you see a matchup like that. It's just real difficult to break through. Bomb Tower is there. Royal Delivery is there. There's just too many options to shut it down. Log if you really need to, but most of the time you don't.
Yeah, and he's got his own setup card, Dark Goblin, one of Expo Master's personal favorite cards. So that was another adjustment in the deck, drawing out possibly another log, but Yakitori had to save that log 100% against the Wall Breaker, which was still connecting.
Dark Goblin is just one of those cards. You never want to just log it on its own, even though, you know, it's equivalent exchange, you know, it's fine. You never feel like it's going to do as much damage as it does.
So I think Expo Master is good to go for another game with near same deck. This Wall Breaker archetype.
I don't know if he will have the matchup as hard as he just had it, though.
Not that countered again. Let's see what kind of deck Yakitori is going to bring in game 2.
If Yakitori brings the same deck, Ponos fans everywhere will be crying because I don't know if Expo Master will lose to it. Miner comes in from Expo Master. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is there.
Is there a chance
Is it the same deck?
No, Mini P.E.K.K.A. still can pair up. Yeah, with many more. Here comes the Miner from Yakitori now. Oh, Expo Master's Dark Prince.
And Bandit. Okay, there is Musketeer. Eats the Bandit charge. Zap comes down. Log comes down too. Nice one. Very injured Musketeer crossing the bridge. Bats from Expo Master.
There was some P.E.K.K.A. Miner from Fob overall.
Night Witch from Yakitori. Night Witch with Mini P.E.K.K.A.?
Yeah, can still be the Giant Miner. But with the log Zap, does seem to be an awfully a different combination. Had to use a Zap there because the Dark Prince was getting that spread. Splash into the tower.
Expo just cycles that log. Trying to find out what his next card is going to be. Bats played at the back. Coming Miner. Mini P.E.K.K.A. is there to answer. Almost like Yakitori read a book on how to defeat Expo Master's Miners this time round, as he has caught every single one so far. G-Clef, it looks like you got something to say.
Yeah, it feels really like the Giant combination, especially for Yakitori, but Expo Master can also fit that in, but instead of the Mini P.E.K.K.A., it's the Dark Prince.
Defensive Miner has to come out, and there is the Giant Night Witch for Yakitori down the right, and a P.E.K.K.A. from Expo Master.
Immediate response there.
Ewiz as well to deal with those bats. Poison comes down from Yakitori, but that is not going to be enough, and it looks as though Expo Master has took Yakitori's game style and just gone, I know exactly what you're going to do, exactly when, and I am going to hard counter you.
Mini P.E.K.K.A. will not reach the tower at all in this game. Okay, let's see the trade. Only a log and a Ewiz.
Expo Master choosing to let that Miner go ham because his own Miner is just taking down that top left-hand tower.
Certainly getting the better end of it, and the Giant is now sealed. When Giant is sealed, cannot reach the tower. Miner has to be the main source of damage, but so far, about 800 apart.
Here we go again. Giant Night Witch, you got to brute force your way through, but Expo Master's Poison just shuts down everything. The Night Witch is gone. Bats.
Musketeer gone. And meantime, Miner actually did some damage while Yakitori put out none on the bottom right.
Double dash. Mini P.E.K.K.A. will close that out. And Miner comes underneath everything. The Prince is there to catch it.
Yeah, to the Yakitori changed up to the left, and even Expo Masters, he doesn't want to let go of any damage. He doesn't even get tricked by that miner at all.
Well, there is the Giant, but the Poison again gets rid of everything you want to build up behind
The Giant against the P.E.K.K.A.
Sometimes you just got to throw it out. Every Golem and Giant player out there knows
it is basically your win condition.
Yep. It's there to distract, and if you get enough bats up, that P.E.K.K.A. does go down eventually. But unfortunately, Yakitori just cannot get this Night Witch to live.
The drag. Yeah, Poison certainly worth it when Night Witch is going the opposite direction from the Giant there, and Expo Master just waiting for that log poison or some more damage from the miner. Yakitori final push likely to be.
Poison comes down.
Putting down everything on the bridge.
Doesn't matter. It is over. Expo Master takes Yakitori 2-0. And it is match
Hard countered game 1 and 2.
Now, a lot of people out there will be like,
Expo
man, he
Master.
just got lucky. He just chose the right decks. He got the hard counters. No, there is a lot of staff, a lot of study, a lot of match prep that goes into picking these decks and knowing what your opponent's going to do.
And also your practice.
And that.
Along with this.
That's incredible. 2 games, 2 hard counters, but Expo Master both times made Kitasian look.
Yeah, Yakitori did play this deck against Sado. Yeah, Night Witch, Giant Miner, with the Night Witch. And Expo Master also played this P.E.K.K.A. Miner before. But just to snipe it like this back-to-back, game 1 and 2.
Praise the coaching staff for sure. Fab Gaming's coaching staff
Plus
are
Expo
known to be great.
Yeah, plus Expo Masters. Also, I'm pretty sure players' opinion goes into the deck choice plus the skills.
Depends on the team you're in. Sometimes coach's decision is final.
Uh-huh. Well, at first it seemed like Ponos were having their day with a 3-0 sweep in the King of the Hill. Now, on the opposite side, 4 in a row, going for Fab Gaming.
Can whoever is up next make it 6 in a row?
It's time for KK. It's time for KK for Ponos.
If you had to choose, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Who else would you throw out for Ponos? Who else do they have?
Rad. Rad and maybe Ten God?
I mean, Rad...
I think KK has to go for set 4 if he was not out for set 3. There's too much of a risk to put him at set 5.
Way too much of a risk,
way
because
too
you don't
much.
know if you're ever going to get there. So, yeah, I would assume KK. Rad has a 33% win rate. Reiki Jones has a 30% win rate. Tengod is untested in this.
Yeah, so looking at all the data and history, I think we
hard.
kind of know what the matchup is going to be. Yeah.
It's just...
KK, Jack.
I think
it's
depends. It depends on what the coaches have decided. Like, if they've decided they want to go hard at this, like in this part,
So
or if they decide that
Fab
they're
Gaming
not going to get here.
is Jack from Fab Gaming for set 4 and 4. Ponos, it is
Drum roll, please.
KK.
Oh boy.
The matchup the world has been waiting for.
Jack versus KK. This is one for the history books, because these two players are not going to be pulling punches against each other. In 1v1 sets, Jack is 7-7 with a 50% win rate in terms of game score. KK is 6-3 in game score, 67% there, 66.66666 recurring. See, I know math.
And Jack, from what I have, 8 out of 11 in playoff only. That's also pretty high of a score in just game counts, in King of the Hill and 1v1s only.
Well,
That's pretty high up there too for Jack for 1v1 game score.
we'll see what happens here.
Let's see, KK already used that Ram. Now it's the Royal Hogs.
No. No.
Mega Knight drop. Only no building now.
Well, a little bit of damage sneaking through.
Yes.
KK is one of the players who, even when he doesn't have the matchup, still looks like he's going to take a game. It's ridiculous.
Super
what this guy
aggressive.
does.
Yeah, just testing out the opponent's starting hand. Can get massive damage. But Jack limited that to only a couple hundreds.
Any particular weird variations on Mega Knight, Night Witch? Final cards. Could it be anything else?
See, I'm wondering about KK. What else does he have combination? Does he have the Magic Archer even along with this spam?
EQ down from KK. Magic Archer played in the center. Gotta watch for that incidental damage on that Magic
So
Archer.
Jack, I think this is the graveyard.
Yeah, it is. There it is. It's down instantly. So Bandit and the Mega Archer, the Magic Archer here, cleaning that up very
not bad.
nicely.
Not bad. They will be pretty quick to actually take care of those skeletons. When the poison is not there. Of course, when the poison comes through, then the Magic Archer is always gone.
But it does take time for him to disappear off the field. He can do some defensive work. Ewiz gets taken out by the tower. Early engagements here. KK has a very slight advantage. Mega Knight on top. So very slight advantage towards KK. But Jack is no slouch himself. He will find a way through. And when you're playing Graveyard, it doesn't matter how far behind you are. You can always come back and win it. One incidental hit.
Oh, even just getting that one piercing shot into the tower, that's going to be critical. Yes, keeping that bridge war. Let's see who the winner is.
Snowballs from both players. Ewiz down. None of the Hogs getting through this time. Baby Dragon in the Ewiz and the Night Witch too much.
The Magic Archer. Also got one more from the snowball push, but still alive.
Yep. The immortal Magic Archer, second Magic Archer loaded up. This time poison out of existence.
Yeah, Jack, he can't take it anymore. He's got to put that poison down. Of course, you want to hit the tower, but you just cannot let that Archer go through.
Well, we saw last time these two players met in that King of the Hill, there was a lot of respect towards Jack's Magic Archers. Poisoned out of existence every time, even though KK was playing Graveyard in that one. Will Jack pay the same respect to KK's Magic Archers? Not much so far. He hasn't really poisoned any of them. Except that one there. There you go. So he is starting to pay respect.
Yeah, Ewa is still out of that poison zone. Yeah, Jack was looking for maybe some more options. Yeah, trying to keep that Ewa alive. Bandit placement.
Brawler is going to take a couple of hits here. Earthquake comes down.
And then Royal Hogs?
No, I don't think KK needs him anymore.
That's true.
He can just hold on until the end of the game.
He's
1
also
minute,
and he's also winning the bridge fight.
And
so
he's also getting EQ in. So
less chances for Jack every single time. Now finally going across with that jump. Bandit is still there, but the Magic Archer locked on the Baby Dragon, so the snowball has to come for KK.
Yep, still has to put in a lot of damage at this bridge. That Graveyard defended nigh perfectly. Just a little bit of poison damage coming through. 1860 remains.
Still not bad.
Down to the last 50 seconds of this one. KK just holding on. Not really pulling the trigger, knowing that the Hogs are not going to get that much damage in. The Royal Hogs kind of exposed a little bit too much in this matchup, so KK getting all the damage he can. Graveyard comes in, poison on the Magic Archer.
Before the lock on, Magic Archer still there, but the Ewa is cleaning up those skeletons, but look at the units at the bridge. A lot of Baby Dragon plus the Mega Knight is still healthy. 20 seconds left.
He's got to hold on. 20 more seconds.
Another jump.
There's another Graveyard. The Magic Archer trying to do as much as it can from the back. Poison
8
comes
seconds.
in. Is he going to be able to hold enough damage?
I don't think HP.
That's it.
And Jack turns it around with the final Graveyard.
2 seconds of that game. KK defended. And eventually he defended so much that Jack just had too much left over. He was holding the bridge. The bridge was just building up on Jack's side, and then it just breaks through.
Yeah, see, so the early Mega Knight goes across. So the Princess Tower helping on with the damage. It stacked some more units for Jack. Also, Iwis keeping that alive was the key. And when you have this many units, it's the final chance. You only have 15 seconds. It's go time.
Yeah, and then decides, okay, let's graveyard. Jack hitting it here. And then look at that. You got Night Witch, you got Ewiz, you got the skeletons, and the bandit on her own is not. She doesn't have 9 arms, right? She has 2 arms. She's not going to be able to kill 12 of them at the same time. And eventually she just gets overwhelmed. Even with the Princess Tower's help, it's not enough. Jack out of nowhere pulling that one out. 4.3 elixir on that. That's a heavy, heavy deck.
I would say a highlight game of the day. That was incredible between the two. That was only game 1. Might also have 2 more games, so let's see. That graveyard. Yeah, Jack, I think he was also leaking some elixir for the late drop of that Mega Knight. He wanted to stack just a little bit more for the backup units to stack and then have the graveyard after. I think that was also intended from Jack, but time was ticking down, so if you don't have the patience, you could have literally lost the game. But it takes a lot of experience, and Jack is at the master class.
Yeah, when I get down to the last 10 seconds,
you just
start throwing everything in there, and we see a lot of
last
players
30 seconds,
actually do
last
that.
30 seconds, it's time to go, man. You can't wait.
But we do see a lot of players, even in this league, do that. When it starts getting down to the final things, it's like, okay, what can do damage? What may do damage? And there's an order of priority. Spells, then things that'll just fly, and then basically things that'll just dash in, and they just start throwing everything in the kitchen sink.
It's so much harder, especially in the final minute when it comes to the triple elixir time. It's just so much faster. You have to read the cycle much early on, maybe even throw that poison down. The moment you see the magic archer, it's always, you just have to get it ready. And along with all the other units that you are trying to push at the same time, you're trying to time your graveyard. So try to do all of that at the same time. That was Jack right there.
I mean, when you have as much as he had built up at the bridge, the graveyard is a no-brainer, right? You just kind of...
Yes, but you have to wait for the perfect time. Okay, I have enough elixir for graveyard and the poison. The magic archer is somewhat damaged, so I can actually have the graveyard early on and then wait for the elixir to have the poison later.
I got 2 baby dragons, a Mega Knight, a Night Witch, an Ewiz. All right, once I get 5 elixir, I'm just going to pull the trigger on a graveyard and hope for the best. It's a no-brainer, right? But the magic archer still makes it difficult, and that is the biggest issue when you're facing a magic archer, is just how do I deal with it?
Yeah, poison.
We saw in the first game, KK and Jack in King of the Hill. Every time that archer was down, poison, poison, poison. What's going to happen in this one? We see an early Goblin Barrel come in from Jack, so it looks as though this one is going to be a super quick cycle deck.
Super bait. Oh, the traditional with the ice spirit.
You don't see the little blue ball anymore?
No, we did see one from KK instead. Now Jack bringing the spell bait.
Poisoning down the princess there.
Is it the graveyard from KK or with the snowball? Let's wait. And see just a couple more.
So Valkyrie is going to start tanking up. There is the Goblin Barrel. Mega Minion at the back, even with the snowball. So I'll clean that up. So pushing behind the Ice Spirit.
I think this is the graveyard with the Ice Golem from KK. He has used a couple of times.
Is Mega Minion going to get a big, meaty hand on the tower? No, shut down. This princess generating value down on this back part. Just left alone. Now she even has a Valkyrie to tank up for her.
Back in a perfect timing along with that Goblin Barrel. Out of spells for KK to defend it perfectly.
There is the graveyard coming down from KK. Ice Spirit comes in. Goblin Gang is there, mostly dealt with. Lug has to come in. A couple of hits in the back. Mega Minion. Is he going to get a meaty hand? He does. One big, meaty hand.
Yeah, one is good enough for KK though.
Remember, ladies and gentlemen out there, if Jack does win this, Fav continue into this tournament. If KK wins this, we're going to have to see what happens next. Barbarians down for KK. Oh, match point on Jack's shoulders right now.
Yeah,
KK has a lot of work to do.
Yeah, Princess want to take care of that early on before it does anything to the Barbarians. Comes the rocket, and when there's a Musketeer or any type of E-Wiz, it's the chance to do so.
Snowball away, but still 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, decent amount of damage done by those goblins from that barrel.
Gang is gone.
Poison comes down, but still the damage creeps in. 16, 18 remain. And those hammy fists of the Mega Minion not going to
yeah, KK has to do more though because of those rocket potential. Oh, the Ice Spirit even connecting. Some more damage into the tower and also the freeze.
The one thing KK has going for him is that Graveyard can always pull out a sneak victory. If you need a deck that'll clasp from the jaws of darkness, this is it. Snowball comes in, 8, 1, 8 remain. These goblins are getting damage done. Snowballs piling up.
It's close. KK has to pressure all the time to make sure that the Goblin Ghetto can't really do too much. Great timing along with that log push. So 437, 5 more damage, and the rocket will seal the game for Jack, and Bob moves on. Defensive Tesla on the Graveyard. Yeah, removing some damage.
Poison comes down. Is it gonna be enough? Has to throw
defensive
Goblin
barrel there. Yeah, Jack knows it. 2 more spells.
There's the Graveyard. Is it gonna be enough? Tesla has to come down. There's the Snowball. 404. The damage is creeping in. There's a poison. Is KK? Has KK done it? The Valkyrie comes in.
Rocket on the left! The Princess has been chipping so much damage. That's it. Ponos go down. Gets Fob Gaming. Fob Gaming wins with a 3-1 victory. And they will be facing the loser from the winner's match, who is Kix.
Kix versus Fab next week before the grand finals is gonna be a match to remember. Fab Gaming took this one, and I mean, we were so focused down that bottom right-hand side. We saw the Princess on the left. You think, it's gonna be fine.
It still had over 1,000 when the Princess started hitting it. But KK could not really spend anything else on the left because he needed to maximize pressure for the Graveyard. Even the top right was down to about a rocket range.
So it's this Princess here with 1 minute 33 left. Now, this is nuts.
2,000. So we skip forward into 900.
It just keeps going.
Keeps on going.
KK was on a clock here.
In the rocket range now with an extra shot.
And I mean, it was too little too late with that Ice Golem from KK. Jack takes it. Ponos, the Spring Kings, not doing it this year, and it's the end of a Spring Dynasty. It doesn't matter. Fav Gaming continue to raise that Japanese flag in this tournament as they go to the losers bracket final. Fav Gaming played out of their minds today and made this just an insanely good match. King of the Hill, it was looking bad. Ponos took it 3-0. Just
Ponos just chop, chop, chop. And let's move on to triple draft. And then suddenly Kenzo Meshi says, okay guys, hold on. Hold on guys, we're Fob. Let's just hold on. Let's just go to set 3 and see what happens. Expo Master, boom boom. Jack against KK. I wish we had at least like one more game, you know. Like, that's a matchup we don't get to see too many times.
Who would have been the last players from these two teams? Because they threw everything already.
That is also...
Donnie versus Rad?
Rad? Yeah.
Okay, whatever happened, happened. 3-1 today. Fav takes out Ponos. Kix were taken out by WEDGM, who literally look unbeatable right now.
But it was also a close match, though.
It was very, very close. So next week's matches, playoff match 9, losers bracket final, Kicks versus Fav. And then immediately after that, the grand final, WEDGM await the winner of Kicks and Fav. It's going to be one hell of a week next week.
Yeah. Still same format until the grand final, best of 5. Let's see what happens. If anything changes during the week, or is it just going to be a very similar meta of what we had this weekend? Lots of RG, some hogs, but sniped with those Ram Riders all the time. Balloon not working so well. Graveyard, yes and no's, and Wall Breaker still on a negative slope.
And Royal Hogs basically been on a 0% win incline right now. They're not faring
working
well. There are too many answers active in the meta for those Royal Hogs. But guys, grand finals next week. Do not miss it. Whatever you do, if you've watched this far, you have to watch the grand finals. We'll be back next week with the final 2 matches of the Clash Royale League East special season. It's going to be good.
It's going to be awesome. Off the hooks.
How many more words can you throw in there, G-Clef?
Mark your calendars. Get your popcorns ready for next Saturday. It's going to be 2 more final matches before the season ends. See you guys in a week.